Hello and welcome to the Clodcast. My name is Ben. I'm here with Roy,
Up.
and
I'm
I'm
actually
here
asleep this time.
with Nate.
Hello, guys. I'm back.
We are finally. Only took us like 4 weeks or something to do the BTL PRs. These, to be fair, these PRs are based on the original teams after Grace. Nate has a separate video where he ranked all the teams currently, and the numbers you will see on the screen for all of our criteria are made by Nate based on the new teams. So some things might vary here. It's not that important, but we are finally getting into the PRs. First, we're gonna do the Scarlet and then the Violet PRs. Yeah. Now then, let's get into it. First person in last place is me.
Yep, that is correct. The last person in PRs is Ben, and you'll never guess who the next one is. There will be no bias allegations happening here. I hate these two equally, but so so let's get into this, right? I think that the reason why that yours is so low, dude, I can't even remember so far back because I spent like 3 fucking hours on it. You
Yeah.
could like card my video in here or some shit, just that
Yeah.
way it can be a bit more organized. But like,
Before
yeah, I
before
think
you
that the
start going though,
biggest
let me explain
reason. Oh,
really quickly for the people who
yes,
have
I
not
want to
seen
hear
our
this.
PRs yet. Our criteria. We have essential rules. So, do you have every important typing? How are your speed tiers? How's your hazard game? How's your removal? Breaking power is pretty self-explanatory. How good can your team break? Support is also very self-explanatory. How good can your team support each other? And problem solving is how versatile are the mons on your team?
Yep, very well said.
Yeah. So, Nate ranked these together with Tay, right?
Yep, me, myself, and Tay, which I will link in my description. It's up to Ben if he wants to link his channel here. But Tay, good friend of mine, him and I both have been playing Draft League around the same time, actually, for a good 3 years, both on and off. And we're pretty familiar with how things go. But I needed Tay because I couldn't trust my own judgment, and these are the PRs that we came up with.
Yeah.
So I should blame Tay for my ranking.
Yeah, you can. So if you have complaints about your rankings, blame Nate, and he can tell Tay.
I'm just gonna tag Tay right now and say I blame you and leave it at that.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't even know if he's in here.
I don't
He
know
might
if he's
even
No,
in
be
he's
playing
Polygon,
Draft
I,
League.
I'm doing
but he's in
I'm
Yeah,
doing it in the
Polygon.
Polygon. Yeah, I'm just tagging him in Polygon.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So
It's funnier, like I just tag him there with no context.
yeah, let's get
That's fun.
into
That's fun.
the stuff now. So essential rules. I think you guys ranked a little too low because basically I have every important typing. My speed
True.
tiers. Well, these are the speed tiers are better right now than on the newer team, which these stats are based on. But my removal and my hazard setting is still pretty good.
Yeah, if you want Ben's true rank, you can add 1 to like breaking power, I'm sure, because Inteleon does exist on this team as opposed to his other team where it doesn't. Because Inteleon with sniper is always hurts. But other than that, I'd leave it at about the same because in my opinion, I see like a lack of I see a lack of pivot on the team. I see, and I mean, I guess a kind of a lack. It's not. There's
Wait,
more to be
wait, wait,
desired.
wait. Lack of pivot?
IMO. Yeah, because what I'm looking at is like I see. Obviously, you got your Slow
I don't know
King. You've
about
got
Um,
your
okay.
Serena,
Um,
but and then you got your Thunderous, right? But are your Inteleon, your Breaker, and your Fortress really going to be coming in and doing whatever? Because Fortress is your lead, right? Like Fortress is going to be your hazard
Always.
lead.
Not always.
I would counter with Inteleon on specs that often run U-turn because it doesn't need another move. So U-turn is definitely something it run quite often. Also, just will definitely run Fault Switch on quite a few occasions.
I'm
And they
talking
do have
I'm
slow.
talking like reliable pivot. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, Fortress
Yeah.
is good, but like I think you're only, I don't know. IMO. I do think there is more to be desired. There's also a lot of stress on Fortress.
Also, you are forgetting Teleport Magmar.
Oh, true.
Also
I am
teleport
forgetting Teleport
Gardevoir.
Magmar. Yeah, Teleport
True.
Gardevoir. How could I
Yeah, I
forget?
think the
How
Pivoton's
could I
fine on this
forget?
thing. I actually think the Pivoton's okay.
Crazy.
I like it.
But memes aside,
Let me be
me
serious. Let me
personally,
look at their
I
ones a
would
minute.
want more.
1, 2,
Go
3,
ahead.
4, 5, 6. There's like 7. I think the Pivoton's fine. I think you're overhating it.
But also like there's a lot of strain on Fortress because you have 2 steals, but one of them is the Fortress, which is the defensive one, and the other one is the Gambit. And Gambit obviously doesn't want to eat hits, right? And your Fortress wants to like make its presence known early in the game so that way it can get more value from hazards, right?
Yeah, but Fortress doesn't have to since I also have Clodsire.
Clodsire is the best steal.
No, like the hazard wise.
Yeah, so I can run hazards as well.
I have 2 months with 3 out of 4 hazards, so I am not forced to run specifically hazards only on Fortress or only on Clodsire.
Earthquake, on the other hand, does kind of hurt this team because you got Thundy for your Earthquake switch in, and
There's literally a Serena there.
you do have a Serena, but like I don't know. I do not. Is Serena hang on a minute. I need to fact check something. What is Serena physical defense?
It's
98.
98 and 72 HP.
It is 98. 72.
Yeah, but Serena's a really good one. I rate Serena a lot.
Is this really an Earthquake switch?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah, Serena is. I literally use it all the time as my ground switching a lot of the time.
Serena is a very reliable
Yeah.
ground switching.
I guess, but I mean, if you have a Landorus, then you're getting U-turn the next turn, right? So like, or if you're out on a Landorus, then you get U-turn the next turn, right? So
To be fair, there's other mons other than Landorus. I mean,
obviously there's other mons other than Landorus, but like
and
this is your.
he just
I guess it's not the
brings
worst.
Yeah, he can bring Thunderous
But
T as his answer to Landorus in that matchup or Slowking.
just don't get stone edged. But yeah.
Yeah.
Then breaking power wise, I'm gonna hate on the ranking a little bit here because even with the new team, the breaking power is better than 1.
Right.
But Nate has a weird system for deciding breaking power because he said Arcanine is not a breaker because it cannot break Dondozo. Yes, of course, Arcanine cannot break Dondozo. It's on a type disadvantage, and its best move to hit Dondozo is Wild Charge.
You cannot break Garg either. Like when that I think breaking, I think you're
combat,
into like,
what are you on?
oh, you have
hang on, no,
on
guys,
Garg.
guys, Chi-Yu can't break Hydreigon, therefore Chi-Yu's not a breaker.
No, nonsense, nonsensical.
I am with Bennett. Arcanine can break. If you've not ever broken with Arcanine, you're using it wrong.
I do not think that it is as your only breaker. I do not think it is personally as reliable as someone like Inteleon.
I mean, on the new team, I also have Pissimian, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but Serena has 120 attack set as well.
Yeah, Serena's actually good.
Shop's closed.
No, Serena does. I've gotten 3 kills with Serena in a match before.
I believe you. Shop's closed though. Sorry.
Yeah,
we're not buying it in this house.
For support, obviously the hazard support is pretty good on my team. On the new team, I have Sylveon instead of Gardevoir, which is a lot better in support than Gardevoir. And I also have like Trick Room support from the Slowking, and chilly reception to support the Thunderous, giving it Weather Ball Ice, which gives it Bolt Beam coverage. And then for problem solving I get, even with the new team, my mons don't have too much variety, except for like on the new team Zora Kasui.
Mm-hmm.
But like even on the old team, there's not a lot of variety. You're gonna like most of these mons are gonna do one thing, and you know what they're gonna do.
Wait till you see the Swords Dance Inteleon set.
I mean,
Yeah,
if I still
it'll
had
be
Inteleon,
crazy.
yeah, but I don't have it anymore.
Oh shit! I keep forgetting what your new team is.
Yeah.
My new
What's
team.
the
Do
first spell?
remember though that a lot of these tiers are going to be slightly inaccurate because again they're not based off of the new stuff or
Yeah.
the old stuff. Sorry, they're based off of the new stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom 5 is replaced by Zora Kisui, Arcanine, Passimian, and Sylveon. That's the changes that happened to my team. But yeah, Nayte and Tay ranked me last place, and I guess I'll just have to accept that. Even though I probably have the best Terra captain in the format.
Lie, I have Ogerpon.
Oh, your Ogerpon is losing to King Gambit.
I'll figure out a way to beat
this is
King
gonna be
Gambit, I
fun.
promise. I'll figure a way to beat King Gambit. If I face you, I can't remember. And
We
depends
do.
how much I'm trying as well.
Week 6 or something.
We do, okay.
Anyway.
No, I should be actually free to try that week.
Yeah. I mean, we get into number 15, which is Roy. Nayte hating on his friends.
Okay, I want you to let you know that this is some bullshit. Okay, this is a work of this team. No, I'm kidding. This team is probably a bit average, to be honest. But I'll defend some parts of it. Okay, so the hazards are pretty good, all things considered. Even if one of the mons is a fucking Alone in Sand Slash.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I will run Spike's Ogerpon at some point.
Yeah. Speed tier wise, speed tiers look decent. But you, even though you don't have a 120 mon, people have to keep in mind this Ogerpon is Terra, so it's always gonna get a speed boost.
Mm-hmm. I think that the main downfall here is like, well, actually, we'll start with the pros. Your hazard setting is good, your removal is reliable, and you have a lot of disruption. The downsides that we found is that your two attackers or your two physical attackers are Ogerpon and Hamurot, which both are choice lovers and are also both very one-dimensional in my personal opinion. And also your pivot is also this time very lacking.
Okay. I will counter with on the Ogerpon and the Samurai accusations is we've played 4 weeks so far, and I've only won each of them Scarf or Banded 1 week. So I disagree on that bit. Yeah, I know. I ran Band Ogerpon week 1 because I did the damage counts and I was like, oh my god, everything dies. And Samurai I bought 3 times, I think 2 times AV because AV was better. 1 week was the best one. I'd also put on my speed test, by the way. While a lot of the team is slow, there is some matchups where Trick Room is good. And I've actually bought Trick Room Slowking Galar this season, and then it missed a Fire Blast. But, we move.
Yeah. One thing to mention, though, which why I can see the essential roles being down a little bit, is if you see the type column, there's a big weakness to fighting and ground. And that's
another big one.
You don't have
too.
a single mon that resists both. Except for
Okay, that is a fair point. That is a fair point. On the fighting weakness, it's a bit overplayed because, and I'll explain why. Alone in Sand Slash and Rotom Frost and Miltank are never all coming in the same week. No, there's no way I bring all 3 of them the same week.
Yeah.
It's mostly my low tier mons that are really fighting weak. And also, again, Alone in Sand Slash probably comes to 1 or 2 games, and it's coming to Sweet.
Yeah.
I do agree that ground spam is a bit of a problem. I found that against the Landorus Therian. Roy used words, and I will counter that properly in the next time I face the team. But I do think the fighting with this is a bit overplayed, purely for the fact it's mostly my mons that are not all coming the same week. Because I'm not bringing Registeel, Alone and Sandslash, and Miltank, Rotom Frost. I mean, most weeks, if anything, I'm bringing like my top 4, and that they very much do not care about fighting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Ben's Scarf Pessimian is gonna have a field day with your team.
Oh yeah.
That's what he thinks.
Have fun having to 50-50 if I click Earthquake or CC every fucking time it comes in.
I'm just gonna click Banded Ogerpon Ivy Cudge and go.
I'm going to
Bonky, bonky, bonk, bonk.
That's when I pull out
I'm
the
going
illegal
to
Sap
your head into a
Zipper
mallet.
Pessimian.
Dude,
Then
he's
you
crazy.
win. GG.
He's crazy.
GG. No, honestly, that Pessimium is actually a threat, to be fair. I will be prepping for Pessimium, I promise. I do agree with you, Pessimium, but I would need to double check some stuff as well for Pessimium.
Yeah.
I need to check his move pool for when I face it, because I actually well respect. I actually rate Pessimium, so fucking good one. Other things as well. What I was going to say is, I don't think my pivoting is that bad. I'm just doing a count now of my pivoting. 3, 4, 5.
That's 4.
I have 6 mons at pivot, to be fair. Thunderwood, Ogerpon, Rotom Frost, Samurott Hisui, Primarina, Cloaking Galar, and I'm missing one already, aren't I?
No.
Oh, is it 5? Oh, it's 5, okay. Not much. Oh, no, it's 6. Yeah, Cloaking Galar as well. 1, 2, 2. Am I don't know.
It's Ogerpon, Thunderous, Rotom Frost, Samurott, Primarina, and Slowking. That's 6.
I think that's fine. That's because a lot of them Thunderous will often run Fault Switch and U-turn. Ogerpon, well run U-turn a good amount of the time. Rotom Frost, if I bring it, because I'm yet to bring it so far, well run Fault Switch. Oh, Rotom Frost, by the way, Rotom Frost and Ogerpon are my Terra Captures. Rotom Frost, I don't.
Three of your pivot mons are your high tiers. Don't you want to pivot your high tiers in?
Yes and no. I want to keep momentum up. I love having pivot and high tiers. Pivot and high tiers is great. For Slowking Galar, for example, I often want to bring in and pivot out. Regen Degen. Ogerpon as well. If they've got like one mon that basically just loads Ogerpon, I can just basically catch them out with a U-turn, get in my answer to that, and then cause more pressure and put pressure on them. Sam, a lot of my mons like pivoting. I think the pivoting is good here.
Let's get into the breaking power. As before mentioned by Nate, the physical breaking power is a little lacking, considering the only 2 mons that really break physically are the Ogerpon and the Samurott. While Donphan can technically break, it's gonna have a defensive role more often than not, because it's one of the 2 spinners, and it's gonna come more often than Sandslash.
Let me just check my. To be fair, while you are right, I think week 3. Let me just check the set again because I can't. Remember, I'm in too many leagues at the moment, so I need to cut down. I need to I'm checking my Donphan set for week 3 because I think I actually brought it offensive. I mean, I might bring it offensive again. Can't promise, but we will see. Where the fuck is this team? Boy, you're on drugs. Oh yeah, no, actually, no, I didn't. No, actually, never mind. I did actually bring it defensive. Never mind. That was for the week I bring it offensive. Yeah, Donphan. I've run banded Donphan before, but it's not common, and it probably only into a Trick Room matchup I'd consider it often because it can hurt like a nuke.
Yeah.
I will say Thunderous can be physical as well, and I have come close to bringing the Defiance set in some matchups. But we move. Special breaking power is pretty good. Like honestly, Slowking Galar, if you bring it Life Orb Trick Room in some matchups, can actually hit like a nuke. And for those of you who say I only bring it as a Stormon, I brought it week 3 as a Life Orb Trick Room.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I actually have like Primarina as well can be a breaker as well, and also Thunderous is pretty powerful. I will say this as well, and this is again slightly like if I actually ever bring it. Terra Rotom Frost with Bolt Beam coverage. If I get Chili support in, watch your switch into 2 times Stab, Thunderbolt, and Blizzards.
Oh dear.
Just remember that.
Yeah.
Nate's right though. Nate's right. Oh dear is correct.
Yeah. Now to the support. Support is actually pretty good because we have very good hazard support. Then we have obviously Slowking, which supports the team in many ways with Trick Room, with the Chili for the Thunderous, and the Rotom Frost. Then we have the Miltank, which can heal Bell. The only thing I don't see on your team is a Wish Passer, which is...
I kind of hate.
It is kind of bad considering two of your defensive mons do not get... well, 3 technically of your defensive mons don't get recovery.
Yeah, because Ready Kiss is like iffy if I bring it on Free Marina. Miltank does get recovery.
Donphan
Rotom
and
Frost gets
Registeel do
Pain Split,
not,
but
except for rest.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I will say this. Donphan, I'm never fucking running Rest on. That doesn't make sense. I am pro Rest Registeel, but that is also fake recovery. And the week I ran Rest Registeel, it was a week where I got 3 kills.
Yeah. And then to problem solving for the versatility part. Thunderous is pretty versatile. And then we get like into the other mons, like, okay, Ogerpon can be a little versatile, it can be like a spike set, but that's about it from the versatility part. Miltank is never going to be offensive, it's a defensive mon that's going to put up rocks or press heal bell most of the time. Typhlosion is going to do...
Unless you're absolutely desperate like I was one week in Porygon.
Yeah. Typhlosion is going to do Typhlosion things. Rotom Frost can be kind of defensive, although the typing is kind of bad for it, for defensive
I will
things.
say, because it has Terra, if I want to run it Terra Electric one, we can be defensive, it can.
Yeah.
But you are right. It needs Terra. And that means also it's a week where I don't Terra Ogerpon. Samurai Hisui is fairly flexible. I learned that Santos can sort of be, Primo sort of can be. Donphan is going to do what it does. Registeel is very much a I can wall anything thing. And Glowking, I will say this, this is one of the few teams I've drafted Glowking on where I feel like I can bring it defensive some weeks with Trick Room. Because I do have a Trick Room mode here for some teams. Because there's one team, by the way, that has no more below 75 speeds.
Yeah.
I already faced them, so this is not news to them.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it for Roy's team, 5.5. Next up, we get to David. David's team, I feel like it's like out of 3 everywhere. Like, it's not bad in any category, but it's like not good, like great in any category as well. It's like a middle of the road team, which for this Scarlet draft is actually kind of underwhelming if you have a mid team. First of all, let's get into the essential rules. Every important typing is filled out except for Ghost, but it is pretty okay since you have 2 good fighting resistances and 2 decent normal resistances. So it is fine not having a ghost type. Hazard setting is pretty good. You have Glamora, which is just automatic hazards sometimes. Removal is decent. You're never gonna run Defog on Swallow. You can run it on Klefki and Lando, and your probably most reliable hazard removal will be the Hitmontop. Pivoting is pretty decent, and speed tiers are kind of a mess. There is a huge gap between 110 and 91, which you don't want to have that gap because you're gonna make 100 speed Pokemon be able to run the Adamant or Modest sets.
Very true.
I am listening. I'm just typing up as well.
Yeah. The Terra captains for this team.
It's Dwello and Meloetta.
Yep.
I remember because I faced this team last week.
Yeah, which is kind of good because both Pokemon can be physical or special, and abuse the Terra in both ways.
And by the way, I don't want to hear anyone say that no, David will never bring Relic Song Meloetta physical because he brought that against me. So don't anyone ever say that, okay? People who say that you can never bring Meloetta with Relic Song physical are liars and slanderers.
Yeah. Now to the breaking power. We have Darkrai, we have Meloetta, we have Glamora, we have the Swallow, and Electros is not really a breaker, it's more like an annoyance. Physically we have...
Yeah, it's just there to be a pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah. Physically we have Ogerpon, Lando, and we have Araquanid, which with Water Bubble is still a breaker. which is pretty solid breaking. It's like not the greatest breaking, but it's pretty solid. And then we go to support. Like the hazard support is pretty good. You have a prankster mom, which can be pretty annoying. And outside of that, you don't really you have one heal bell Pokemon, which is Meloetta, which I don't think you're gonna run heal bell or Meloetta a lot. And also not a no Wish Passer on this team. Which, considering some of your best defensive mons, like your defensive mons don't get recovery, is kind of meh.
Agreed. I kind of agree with that. Like, honestly, I was probably prepped for this team, and I won't spoil what happened. Well, I think it could do with a Wish Passer, but it works with what they plan to do. I definitely could have prepped a lot better, and if I do face them in a rematch, I will get revenge.
Yeah. This team is very obviously very offensively oriented, which you can see by like the defensive mons being like Hitmontop and Araquanid and Klefki. And then for the problem solving, like there is some variety in sets like Darkrai can run physical special, Swellow can run physical special, Lando can run physical special, Meloetta can run physical special, and Electros can run physical or special. Otherwise, most of the mons will pretty much do the same thing. Like Ogerpon could run spikes, Glamora could run the Meteor Beam set, Hitmontop could be like an offensive set.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is
I just don't have much more to say. Like, Glamora is very versatile. I think, actually, honestly, I'm one of the people who's pro on the Glamora is better as an offensive mon than a defensive mon and a hazard setter, because everyone preps the hazard set. You kind of have to, especially with T spikes and toxic to brace.
Yep.
Nate, any other thoughts?
Not
Oh,
really.
actually,
You guys pretty
sorry.
much got everything.
I will say, I might.
It has achieved mediocrity, and you know what?
I will
Some
say
days it's
this:
not that bad.
there is a massive defensive hole that I spot in their team.
Oh yeah.
Water can kind of run through them.
Yeah, the only water switching is Araquanid.
And fire too, by the way. Fire is fucking lethal into them as well in some cases.
Yeah. Well, there's
This is where Banded Arcanine is going to break.
Yeah, like
just for
hyper
context.
offense teams obviously are not going to be ranked that high because it's just not their nature to be like the perfect, well-rounded team.
Correct.
But yeah, that's David at number 14.
I was more making a point for the Arcanine break, I think.
Yeah. Then we have Jfuka at 13, which I think is a little underrated of a ranking.
Good. Can I ask a genuine question?
What's up?
Did you remember that Superior is also Terror as well as one other mon? Lucario.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Wow, you really underrate the break. You underrate the breaking power hard on this team. I massively disagree on breaking.
I don't see it.
I can see the reason why Nayte did the breaking power. Let's get into essential rules first. There's three important typings missing actually. There's no fairy type, there is no ghost type, and there's no normal type. Which they are pretty set on dark type resistances. They only have one ghost resistance, which is the Gyarados Mega, which needs to Mega first to be a ghost resistance.
That's a bit of flaw. I get it. Mega House is a good dark type, but it needs to be dark for it actually to work.
Yeah. Then normal type resistances, you have Lucario, which is kind of a frail mon, and Golem, which you're not gonna bring very often. So that's also like fighting resistance wise, you're pretty set though. You have a Mew, you have a Tauren, and you have a Toxapex. So. Hazard setting wise, you're okay. It is a little bit deceiving since Mew does get all the hazards, but Mew's not gonna run hazards every fucking time. So
shouldn't.
That ranking this team and doing PRs both with Mew and Silvally and other mons like it, like Smeargle, you just need to discard them because if you look at the right and you see all of the tiers. There's not really any empty ones, and that's just because Mew is in there. Mew can do anything, and when that Mew can do anything, you just kind of have to like brush it off. It's like, yep, that can happen, but will it? No.
I kind of disagree, but in a sense of like, you don't discard it, but does the team force Mew to play one role is the problem. That's what you got to consider. If Mew is forced into one slot, it's a problem. If you have stuff that can do it as well, not necessarily the best at it, then that's better. But if Mew is forced to be one thing and one thing only, then yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
My way of viewing it.
Like my point was for the hazards. Great Tusk is gonna have to run rocks quite a bit because you're never bringing Golem, and Mew has like 4 move slot syndrome a lot of the time because you need Mew to do so many things and nothing at the same time. Removal wise, it's quite decent, even though Superior and Mew are not gonna run Defog a lot. You have Rapid Spin Great Tusk, which is amazing, and you have Defog on Torn and Rotom Heat, which are gonna be used well. Those are 2 great defog users. Then we have speed tiers wise, it's pretty okay until you look. There's 3 Pokemon in the 80 speed tier, like from 81 to 87, and there's a big gap between 80 and 45. So
yeah,
80,
honestly,
45.
this is a team. This is another team that struggles with Trick Room, I think.
Yeah.
And there is a trick. There's at least one Trick Room team, and there's a guy with a Trick Room mode at least.
Yeah. Breaking power.
Trick Room guy smells though.
Now I'm gonna get to the point that where I can understand Nayte a little bit, because this team doesn't break outright. A lot of the mons need setup to break properly. For example, the Superior, the Mew, even the Lucario, they need the Rotom. They all need setup to break properly. The only 2 mons that break immediately are the Great Tusk and the Gyarados.
I slightly disagree on Lucario.
The Gyarados could also need a DD as well, by the way.
Could, yeah.
Which is again, another setup.
It can, but I think Lucario breaks a lot stronger than it looks, especially with Terra. And also the Superior, yes, does need setup, but in some matchups, Superior Contrary with Stella is going to start breaking quickly.
Yeah. Obviously can, but like I said, the first hit from Superior does not hurt. Every hit after that will hurt. So it's like, okay, it's a lot of setup offense. That's why I get why the breaking power might not be that high.
Correct, and that's exactly what we stated in our video. Just like, oh, okay, Serp's out, it's gonna click Leaf Storm. Okay, well now I'm going to swap into my nearest Scarfer or set up a speed. And if you glare, well, you're a god, but you're probably not going to because you want to break something, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, honestly, Superior. You can run a breaker set and run glare, but yeah, I kind of agree. Glare is a move I honestly put. I think when I run Superior, I think even when I run it Scarf, I run Glare sometimes. Because Glare is just such a free move.
I mean, if you read the Glare, but like you want to start your Snowball so you can actually break.
Yeah.
So even then, if you glare, you're still checked afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you just switch out and then. Honestly, I do the Glare first because then you basically set up. You get to break a bit of the game, and I'm more patient than Ben. I don't like try and break straight away.
Hey, okay, chill out. Why are you fronting me like that?
I love you, Ben. I'm a poker player. I'm a poker tournament player. I can wait to break through. I will just pick my moment and slowly do it.
I accidentally revealed the next team on accident because something just fell on my mouse. I'm sorry. Anyway,
that's fine. I didn't see
it. Support-wise, you obviously have Mew, which is one of the greatest. One very great support mon because it has access to almost every move in the game. Otherwise from that, like, your hazard support is decent, but if you look at the rest of the mon, okay, there's not a lot of support options. The Glare support is there from Superior, but Lucario won't support. Torn is like, okay, knockoff support, I guess. Rotom Willow support, I guess. Gyarados won't support. Golem hazard, like, rocks, okay. And Pax
Golem will plus Explosion. That's a support right there. I'll tell you.
Yeah, and then there's Pax, which is just a wall.
Yeah, Pex is a wall. I mean, Pex can support as well. Like, honestly, I think I suggested him running it as a certain set to help defend as well. In some matchups, it can do work, but it is very much a Dormon.
Yeah. And then we get to the
Hex
problem
supports
solving,
by
which
getting that one clip of Kanye West rapping to Thunder Blender.
Yeah.
That's how Peck supports.
Problem solving very obviously is 5 points because there's Mew, the most versatile Pokemon in the game. Outside of that, we also have Torn, which is very versatile. Lucario, which can run both offensive stats if it wants, or mixed. Rotom Heat, which can switch to offense and defense. The bottom three are pretty okay, they're pretty one-dimensional. But like if you look at like the rest, like, Great Tusk can run a defensive set very well and an offensive set very well. Even like something like AV Tusk is a thing that exists. And even like Superior, it has Subseed plus Glare, or like the straight offensive set. So yeah, the problem solving is amazing on this team.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that can happen.
Yeah.
Great.
Now then, let's jump on to the next team, which you guys already saw. It's Nayte.
Correct.
With his original team, the only two swaps were Ribombee for Uxie and Necrozma for Darmanitan.
With the ultimate respect, why is support 5?
Why is support 5? Because I have pivot for all of my win cons, and I also have screens on Uxie, and I have an insane amount of utility. Like I can bring in a win con whenever I want, however I want.
I can accept that. Your essential rolls are way too high, though. You have 1 Defogger, 1 Spinner, and 2 Rockmons.
Yeah. And also considering you don't have a fairy type. And your 2 dark type switch-ins are, for one, a Gapdos, which is decent as a dark type switch-in. And Chiyu, which especially can take a hit, physically not so much.
And also, your ghost type resist is basically Chi-Yu and Ambipom.
Yeah, which is also kind of...
Also, you're quite fighting weak as well. And rock weak.
Man, the fighting
weak to
weakness is not
Rampardos.
bad at all. Weak to Rampardos is crazy.
You
My
are
speed
very
stats
weak to
are high for that.
Rampardos, actually.
My
And
speed
also,
stat
it's
is
like,
far too high for that.
and also Psyguard. I might just draft Psyguard 1 week just to fight you and then drop it again.
Yeah.
How are you drafting a Zygarde?
Oh yeah, shit. Dragon's banned. I forgot that.
Roy, bro.
Okay.
Bro forgot that Dragon is the ban type this season.
Fairy is significantly less important in this draft because there are no dragons. That's why
but
many
you still
people
want to have the resistances to dark,
dark.
for example.
Well, of
That's
course,
why you want it.
it's not mandatory though. Like as a fairy now, because all the dragon powerhouses are gone. It's very
Yeah.
good. Don't get me wrong.
I'd
but it's not
agree.
mandatory.
I'd agree
Like,
if you had a
some
more
of the best
defensive dark
teams-
or fighting type, but Gyarados can kind of work, I guess. It doesn't get boost though.
Some of the best teams up above, like some of them don't even have fairies, and they're like fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with these teams. I think.
Do not worry about that one.
Well, one thing to mention already, your team is fast. Your team's gonna get eaten up by Trick Room.
Yeah. You do lose to Trick Room.
Don't worry, Rapid's just my hard counter. It's not out of the ordinary. Last league that I played with him in, that wasn't P2, he got bored and decided to fully counterpick the team that I was drafting because he didn't know what to draft. Like each
That's
pick
amazing.
was a counterpick to mine, and then proceeded to 6-0 me. I will cook up something. However, until that happens, oh well.
Yeah.
Nate, get ready to learn Trick Room, buddy. When I fight you, if I fight you.
Get ready to learn Trick
Again.
Room,
Again. Remember how I beat you last time? I beat you in Trick Room.
Yeah. Let's go to Breaking Power. Physically.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did in BTL.
Physically,
Trick
you
Room Hatman.
have Darmgy with Terra, which is absolutely crazy. You have Gapdos, and you have Treads. I'm not counting Ambipom because that's a fake mon.
Kind of agree.
Especially you have Chi-Yu.
You have
Chi-Yu.
If we're not counting Rotom Frost, then Rotom definitely doesn't count.
Yeah. Milotic, I guess, with competitive could do, but
Petrarun is also not bad, especially.
Yeah, well, but it needs
Petrarun has 88 special attack. It's not a breaker.
Yeah.
Ben would disagree.
I would. Okay. Then my breaking power is 5. If we count that as a breaker, my breaking power is 5.
There was an incident where a Petrarun broke through a Clodsire. I'm not saying any more details, but that did happen.
Well, yeah, it's a very specific set that needed to be happening, and that's also because I had the other ability.
Okay, that makes some sense actually. Okay, but yeah, I'm not having Petrarun as a no. Petrarun is a fantastic defensive wall. I actually rate them on. Petrarun's amazing on this team, by the way.
It is very good. I love it.
Yeah, but especially
on this team especially.
Yeah, but especially immediate breakers, you only have Chi-Yu. The others need setup. Which
good thing I did one of
the Terradarm G alone gives this a 2 or 3 because Terradarm G is just so fucking crazy at breaking. But you dropped that, so fuck your ranking.
I did.
Yeah, your ranking. Yeah, your ranking's now a 1. I don't know. What's your new team? Let me have a few new teams.
It's Necrozma instead of Darm, and instead of Yuxi, it's Rabombi.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so you are so you're less Trick Room. Well, you're still Trick Room because Cosmos was quite fast, all things considered, for Trick Room. But I will say this, Nate, I did make a final with Terra Necrozma, so there is hope for you.
Terra Necrozma is very, very good.
Agreed.
I'm looking forward to using that thing.
But now your breaking powers are 2. Your essential role gets slightly better because you have better hazards.
Yeah, your breaking power goes down though. The support you have okay, there's Seal Bell support. You don't have a Wish Passer for your defensive mons like Treads that cannot recover. And for the Rotom, which I guess has Pain Split, but that's not valid recovery.
It is very valid. I think Pain Split is very good. It has 50 HP. It was very good.
I disagree.
On Giratina, Pain Split's not valid because it has 150.
Yeah, that's why I dropped Giratina. Giratina was fucking shy. I hate that one.
Yeah. You haven't seen a Rotom get its entire health bar back by clicking Pain Split? It's not HP invested. It's just defensively invested.
Honestly, no. On other mons, yes, but not Rotom.
Yeah, but I think the support is also a little overrated because you don't have a lot of hazard support. You don't have a lot of removal. You have a good amount of momentum. That's nice, but outside of that, your support is...
Friendly reminder, this support was ranked with Rabombi in mind as well. Yuxi is still great for screens and all, but Rabombi with sticky webs with this team does so much better.
Yeah,
Rabombi though is a very iffy. I wouldn't count Rabombi as a defogger though. For example, with defog Rabombi shit.
Yeah,
no,
it's good more like Rabombi.
For the webs, it's nice, but it's not 5-point support. I would say 2 or 3 point support.
I'd say 3. I think you have just got. I think you two have overrated it. I've just got focused solely on the pivoting and nothing else.
In my video, I did not comment at all. I just let him do everything, and he asked me a series of questions, and I answered them, and that's what he came up with.
Okay.
Dakota is a pivot glazer. That's good to know. Good to know. Dakota loves pivot.
This is just your guys' way of getting back at me for putting you two at the bottom. I see how it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're losing that many points in support, you might as well be at the same rank as me.
Yeah, actually, honestly, being serious, I would make your central was slightly higher with the Rabombi, but your support's going down to 3. It would have been a 2 without the Rabombi.
Yeah, that means you're probably just above Roy. So we 3 are the bottom 3.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry, it's 2 again. Never mind. You're bottom. I will say problem solving gets better though as well because the Necrozma is fantastic at problem solving. Oh my god, Terra Necrozma is fucking great. I could glaze that mon all day. Fucking loved it in BTL. Just won so many matches alone, or was a wall that enabled Iron Valiant to win.
Yeah, but outside of that, Ambipom is not very versatile. Iron Treads is kind of versatile with like defensive and offensive options. Chiyu is Chiyu. It's gonna do the same shit every fucking week. It's just gonna be like specs overheat.
Except when facing a Terra Arcanine, and then it has to run the Ruination Stub stall that I don't know.
Yeah. Zapdos can technically run defensive sets, but it's mostly gonna be offensive because it's Zapdos. Darm is Darm. It's gonna do one thing, and the one thing Darm is good at. Uxi's quite versatile, which is okay. Pecharunt can run the Nasty Plot set, but it's a Pecharunt. It's gonna be just an annoying parting shot, press out Toxic, click Malignant Chain. Rotom-Mo is a little bit versatile, and Milotic is, I guess, versatile if you want to count the competitive set, which is not gonna come often, probably.
Yeah. Unless Nate's insane, which... Yeah, Nate's insane, actually. That makes sense.
I mean, Nate is already insane, so...
Oh, man.
Anyways, let's hop on to the next team. It's Ryan time. And immediately, we will go into the essential rules. 2 typings missing, goes to normal. For normal resists, you only have Rachi, which is fine. For fighting resists, you have Pheasantipede, Lando, and Kricketune, which is fake. So 2 fighting resists. And for ghost resists, you have Meowscarada, which is kind of fake. And Mandibuzz, which is actually pretty good as a ghost answer.
I think it works. Like, Pivoting's pretty decent as well, and Hazard Setting is fairly good. Though, what's their terror again? Is it Sandy Sharks or is it Landorus?
It's Quaquaval and Crocolore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Sandy Sharks is probably coming at you Hazard a lot more than you would if it's Terror.
Yeah. Hazards are decent. Removal is kind of iffy because you're not going to run Rapid Spin on the Quaquaval a lot. Because...
Disagree.
Well,
depends on the stat.
It's your Terra Captain, so you're going to run it offensively most of the time. And since you already have Aqua Step, you won't be needing the Rapid Spin to boost your speed.
Yeah, it is very flippy, which is the big deal. Like your removal is your Mandibuzz. Your reliable removal is your Mandibuzz.
Yeah, the other 2 can technically run the removals, but are less likely to.
Mandibuzz will never see the light of a Rocky helmet unless you're against Zangoose, because Zangoose doesn't have hazards.
Yeah.
You will be having the shoes all day or day.
Yeah. Then speed tiers wise, not too many gaps. There's one between 80 and 60, but the important gap that is missing is between Lando and Meowscarada. There's no Pokemon with 110, between 110 and 115, which is kind of iffy because you want a Mon in that tier, because a lot of strong Mons are in that 110 speed tier. And these Mons will be like open to run the Modest or Adamant sets, which could be detrimental to you, considering your defense very much relies on the Mandibuzz and Tangrowth, which are both weak to the same typing, the same typing in Ice, for example. And Jirachi can technically run defensive sets, so I guess it'll be fine. One thing to mention, though, is the big fire weakness. Very big fire weakness. The only... Like, Crocolore is not going to come that often, and outside of that, it's Quaquaval, and Quaquaval is going to Terra.
Yeah, I agree. So I was listening. I just got distracted by a Far West team.
Yeah, I saw that team as well. Anyway, yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Breaking power wise, this team is great because you have Meowscarada, which hits like a fucking truck because of protein. You have Landorus Incarnate, which is just one of the most prolific wall breakers in the game. You have Sandy Shocks, you have Quaquaval. So it is pretty good wall breaking, especially because you have two very great ones, and you have 2 very good ones physically as well. Outside of that, most of the mons need a little bit of setup. For example, the Pheasantipede needs setup, the Jirachi needs setup. Manabuzz is not gonna will not hit hard. Tangrowth can hit kind of hard, surprisingly, because 100 and 110 in the offensive stats are pretty insane for such a defensive Pokemon.
It does actually shockingly hit hard.
Yeah.
Pheasantipsy can also slowly break down because beat up Toxic Chain is kind of fucking funny to basically break subs and also just get a Toxic off without being taunted.
Yeah. Support-wise, like the hazard support is good. You have a lot of momentum on this team. Then you have Web's support as well for this team. And then you have Rashi, which is obviously Wish plus Heal Bell. Cricketune apparently also gets Heal Bell, which I didn't know, but interestingly enough. You have a lot of
That's good to know, actually.
knockoff
That makes me
support.
more like to draft it.
Yeah, so support is also pretty good. Now we get into problem solving. Yaskarada technically has some special sets, which are very niche. Lando could run physical. It's unlikely because the special sets are just so much better because of Force. Sandy Shocks can run hazards or special. Rashi is pretty versatile, but Pheasantipity is okay-ish versatility-wise. Quaquaval will do the same thing, Manabuzz will do the same thing, Cricketune will do the same thing, Tangrowth will do the same thing, and Crocalor will do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Tangrowth will be AV a lot of the time with physical special moves, depending on the team and what it's transferred. Sandy Shocks is versatile. I will say this: Lander Incarnate does get a couple of moves with sheer force on the physical side, but the special side is just way more powerful.
Exactly. Yeah, but that is Ryan's team at 11. Now we get into Hamburger. Which, typical Hamburger draft, very top-heavy. Very top-heavy.
Look at the hazard removal.
Yeah. The essential roles, you don't have a fire type, and you don't have a dark type.
They are very weak to fire as well. It's only Palafin, which is not a defensive mon.
Well, Palafin is surprisingly bulky. 100, 97, and 87. It can take a lot of hits.
Yeah, but you don't want it to be your only fire resist.
Yeah. Terra captains here are Annihilate and Bastiodon. Like, not having a dark type is kind of bad considering your only two psychic type switches are Bastiodon, which will not come every week, and the Skarmory, which, if you know something about psychic types, a lot of psychic types have the coverage to at least get Thunderbolt, and Skarmory won't like that.
Team struggles with Monkidori.
Yeah.
Also, ground is very spammable into them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, ironically, Ursaluna Blood Moon, which is one that would actually nuke this team to death with Smackdown power, is on their team. But that literally anything with ground and coverage for Skarmory is just going to have a field day here.
Yeah. Hazard-wise, Skarmory sets a lot of hazard, but you only have one remover, which is Skarmory. That is pretty awful.
Annihilate doesn't want to run rocks, if I'm honest, and a Bastiodon should only be coming twice a season. What's their Terra again? Is it?
It's Annihilate Bastiodon.
Oh, okay, Annihilate's very good Terra.
Yeah.
Bastiodon probably comes one matchup a season, maybe two.
Yeah. Speed tiers are
fine,
pretty fine, actually. Like, a very fast team, but they do have two mons that protect them from being abused by Trick Room. They also don't have a lot of momentum on this team. They only have Annihilate, Electrodes, and Palafin. Which is kind of iffy, if we're being real. They do pick up Screamtail instead of Ninetales, Alola, and regular Electrode over the Electro Tisui. But yeah, essential roles are a mess. But now
I think essential roles should be. I would say this: essential roles should probably be a 0.5. No, it's just harsh 1.
Now we get into the Hamburger special, the offensive power of the team. You have a Spectrier. You have a Mega Venusaur, which is not to be underestimated offensively. You have an Ursaluna Blood Moon. You have a Palafin. You have an Annihilate. This team is gonna hit you and hit you hard.
Okay, I disagree with the ranking. It's not a 5, it's a 6. No, this team fucking nukes. There's nukes. Even Bastudon with Terror Fighting Body Press can do fucking damage as well.
Yeah. This team will definitely, if a mistake is made, this team will completely shut you down. Then to the support, on the like Ninetales and Screamtail, I value about the same as support. Outside of that, there's not much because there's not a lot of hazards. There's not a lot of removal. There's not a lot of momentum. So support is very, very mediocre. You do have Electrode, the Hisui one or the normal Electrode in the new variant of the team, which gets screens. And with Screamtail, you have a Wish Passer, which you don't technically need, except for the Annihilate and Bastiodon, because your defensive Pokemon in Skarmory and Venusaur both get recovery. And to the problem solving, Electrode is Electrode. It's gonna do either screens or be offensive. Spectrier is a little versatile, but it's still Spectrier, so it's gonna be nuking you or setting up on you. Ninetales would be a little more versatile considering it has nasty plot options. It can run Scar, Specs, and Aurora Veil. Palafin is very versatile. Annihilate is okay-ish versatility-wise. It is mostly going to be like a bulk up or Scar set or something like that. There is Scar Final Gambit, which I guess is he could do.
If you do that with your Terror Annihilate, I will slap you.
I almost did
I'm
that
kidding.
in P2.
Yeah, that's in a league with semi Ubermon, so that makes more sense.
Yeah. Venusaur can be pretty
I'm also half
versatile,
joking.
but Skarmory, Ursaluna, and Bastiodon are pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we go to the next two. Ida Dam.
They haven't posted much in the server or in the our other normal server, so I kind of just went to Google and found a panda meme.
Yeah. Essential rules. Typings are filled out pretty well. There's no important typing that they don't have. Hazards. Big problem. They have Toxic Spikes and Webs with Ariados, and then they have Rocks of Crook. That's it. They have a Defogger in Halucha, which is never going to run Defog. And they have a Rapid Spin Mega Blastoise, which is fine. One more thing I want to mention. This guy picked Snorlax round 1.
That's wild.
Alpha as fuck.
Alpha
as fuck.
I mean, this is nice as well. I'm not mean to be mean to anyone, but I feel like this is proof that Nayte's a hater when he ranked both our teams below this one, looking at the essential roles for this, because this essential role should be a 1. I have so many problems with it.
The speed tiers are
Actually, no. Actually, less.
decent.
Yeah,
The more you look at it, the more you like it.
Yeah, to be fair, you are right. Actually, I actually am liking the more I look at it. I've actually got the 2. Essential roles is a 2.
It's a 2.
Nate's still a hater though.
Just because the hazards are so goddamn awful.
Yeah, the
hazards
are genuinely terrible.
The removal 2, to be honest, like the only matchup you ever bring. Actually, no, you don't ever bring Halucha Defog. Honestly, I will say this. I will slightly defend it because their strategy is double terrain. I don't know if you bring Defog ever. But I would just prefer Second Spinner.
Yeah.
Well, Halucha's not that disciplined anyway. Is it Terra Halucha, isn't it?
It is Terra Halucha, yeah. And
oh yeah, that's why it got so high. Terra Halucha is a powerhouse.
Yeah, breaking power wise.
I make it a 4 breaking power.
While Halucha needs a sword stance to be very, very threatening, it is still like once it gets a sword stance, it is gonna rip through teams. Physically, otherwise we have Electivire, we have Bulu, and we have Melmetal. And if you've ever done a Metal Calc, double Iron Bash is just gonna nuke some teams. Especially we have Lele, we have Blastoise Mega, and we have Skeledirge, which are also pretty great. And Skeledirge is just passively a breaker because of Torch Song.
Yeah. I'll also say this, going on to support as well. Let's say you're facing a team like Nayte, who had every mon above 80 speed for some reason. If you run Trick Room into him, Melmetal's just going to kill your entire team.
Oh yeah.
Correct. Melmetal.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to use any team with a Trick Room. I'm going to use Nayte's team as a base until we get to the other team with plus 75 speed.
Yeah.
Nayte wasn't the team I was mentioning that had the Trick Room problem. I didn't even know about Nayte's Trick Room problem until I just saw it.
Yeah, breaking power wise, we also have the Crocodile. Of course, I got to mention that. Support wise now, you have a very underrated support mon, in my opinion, is the Meowstic. It's a low tier Pokemon for a reason, but the Prankster one is pretty good in supporting. Prankster, Encore, Heal, it gets healed by bullets, gets screens. It can be very annoying. It also gets Trick Room, which can support your Mammal and Snorlax. Support
I
should
don't
be
know if this is a 5, though.
It's not a 5,
This
just
4.
because the hazard support is god awful.
Yeah.
The terrain support is great.
Agreed. Terrain
But-
support is fantastic. It works well with the team. Mega Blastoise with Terrain Pulse as well is fun.
Yeah, but outside of Meowstic and the terrain support, there is not too much support, which I think the support is a little overrated here. But that's just
I think the terrain.
humble
I think the
opinion.
terrain support plays into a bit. Actually, it might even be a 3. I do kind of like Tapu Bulu because they are very ground weak here. They are very ground weak, so Tapu Bulu does help a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And their ground type can run high horsepower, which is key to note.
Yeah. Then we get into the problem solving, which, if you look at the mons, you can see none of them are very versatile. Snorlax is going to be set up or just bulky. Melmetal is going to do Melmetal things. Ariados is just there to set up webs. Skeledirge is a tiny bit versatile, but not that much. I love Choice Band Bulu, but Bulu is not very versatile. It has Subseed, I guess. Blastoise can be a little versatile. Crook is Crook. Electivire is just going to be offensive. Lele is just going to be offensive, although it does have some nice setup options, even with Iron Defense, because it gets that for some reason. Meowstic is technically both. They have both Meowstic's forms, I think. So that's, I guess, versatility. And Halucha is
That's
going to do
pushing it.
Halucha things.
I think that's pushing it because I think you should only ever bring Prankster. To be honest, I mean, Mouse-Guarder. It's nice to have the other one, but yeah, I think you only ever bring Prankster.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was Ida Dam. Now we get to the Sleepy Time Bears, aka Embiid. Now then, typing wise, they are missing one typing I kind of hate that they don't have. It's a poison type. They don't have a grounded poison type. Which, okay, Golden Go is immune, Empoleon as well. Jugulus and Ace of are immune, but Mudsdale and Chestnut are gonna be affected by those by T-Spikes, for example. And
also Terrapagos is a big one. You're forcing Terrapagos a lot more to run boots.
Yeah. Speed tiers wise, this team is pretty decent. Only gap is 80 to 70, which is not that big of a deal. You have some good momentum. Removal is a little iffy. You have 2 good removers, yeah, but you only have those 2. And then hazard-wise, 1 Spiker, 4 Rocks is pretty good. No T-Spikes is okay, I guess.
No T-Spikes is fine.
Yeah.
I will say this: the thing I dislike the most I've spotted is you only have Defog Empoleon and then Rapid Spin Trappers. I think you want another backup like Oh, I don't want to add my brother to fucking Snapchat. You only have basically Terrapagos as your spin. I don't really love that. I like Terrapagos is best when it can, as Nate would probably say, do a lot of things. because it is very versatile. Isn't that right, Nate?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Terapagos is one of those mons where when you look at it in the builder, you think one of two things. You either think, okay, I'm cooked, or you think, how many Pokemon do I need to devote to stop this turtle?
Yeah, that's pretty much
I
it.
agree.
Um,
I just looked at the final team for the doc Ben's having me help with, and it was just like in shock at the team, but in a funny way.
which brings me to the next thing is breaking power. Physically, you have Darm, which I love regular Darm. It's like the flare blitz from that thing is still so fucking strong. You have Gramble, which is surprisingly good at breaking. Mudsdale, which is also very surprisingly good at breaking, and Azelf. Some might wonder why didn't I mention Zeraora? Because Zeraora is a fake mon.
Yeah, I'm a hater on Sarah. Well, actually, I like Sarah, but it's a fake.
Especially you have Azelf again, Iron Jugulus, Terapagos, and Goldengo. Also Empoleon technically with competitive. And why do I mention Terapagos while it only has 105 special attack? Because of Terra Star, like the Terra Star Storm or whatever its signature move is.
Mm-hmm.
Support wise, you have a heal bell user. I don't think you have a wish user on this team, which would be actually better for this team, considering a lot of the bulky mons, aside from Empoleon, do not get recovery. I guess Chestnut gets synthesis. I'm not quite sure on that one though. But Gramble and Mudsdale, for example.
I think Chestnut does get synthesis. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty certain
Gramble
on
and
that one.
Mudsdale don't have natural recovery, so that could be nice for them to have, but it's not necessary. You have 3 mons with Trick, which can be pretty annoying. You have knockoff support, you have decent momentum and hazard support. Yeah, support is pretty good. Not a lot to complain about. And then problem solving, versatility wise, Azelf is versatile. Terapagos is versatile. Anything else? I guess Zeraora, even though it's a fake mon.
Empoleon, I guess.
I guess, yeah. It has the sword stance set, I think, so.
Also can be competitive as well in the right matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is basically it for Embiid's team.
Good.
Next up is Frog Duck. Also,
I have so many things to say, but I've already said them.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Nate has already said them in his video. I'm gonna
Dad,
mention
may I
it.
interrupt you?
Yeah.
You see a nice duck. There's a nice duck on the screen.
There is definitely a nice duck on the screen. Now
There's
then,
a nice
typing
duck on the
wise,
screen.
we're missing a lot of important typings. We don't have a dark type. We don't have a ghost type. We don't have a normal type. And as you can see, there is not a single ghost resist on this team. Not a single.
Yeah, that's
one.
horrendously bad.
That
That
is
is horrendously bad.
yeah, that is very awful.
Unironically, Mega Banette sweeps.
Unironically,
Oh, what was
yeah.
their terror again? What was their terror again?
Let me just look it up real quick. It's Ogerpon Wellspring.
Oh, okay, yeah, Mega Banette sweeps. They can't even counter it with terror. They really do struggle to go spam.
Yeah. They can't Terra into a different typing to avoid like the ghost spam. Because Ogerpon Wellspring is forced to Terra into water. So
the hazard removal is fine. I actually don't hate it. Extra is a really random pick on this team.
yeah. Nate, do you wanna be the hater on the Excadrill?
Okay. Why did we pick Excadrill over Mega Swampert?
I'm guessing
Like,
it's
right
just spin.
there.
I'm guessing
It's
spin.
right
That's
there.
the only reason.
We have rain. We don't need defog.
Well, no, spin.
We don't need removal. Doesn't matter either or. It's
I
rain.
think I think you do want removal, but I don't think Excadrill is the answer as your as your ground type.
Yeah, it's not
I agree.
necessary. Like,
I agree with Mega Swampert being better, or just something like Clodsire. Clodsire would be kind of perfect because Clodsire is basically immune to it can run water absorb. But just like I kind of get why they probably wanted Rapid Spin. The extra chill just does not fit here. It just feels very. Also, for a raid team, they're surprisingly weak to fire.
Yeah, I wanted to
yeah,
mention that
but
as well.
the reason why it's so high, right, is because Tay and I took a moment and looked at all of the freeze dry Pokemon, and they picked the only viable one outside of Alolan Ninetales, and nobody right now currently has Alolan Ninetales.
Yes, they do.
No,
Hamburger.
Hamburger
Oh,
dropped it for
they traded
Screamtail.
it.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah.
Hamburger, you've had to. Okay, what does anyone have Mamoswine? Because Mamoswine can run a freeze try.
It's not running it viably. Come now.
I am into a raid team. I have run Mamoswine with freeze dry.
Anyways,
Aye.
hazards. Hazards are pretty good. Removal is decent. We have 2 defoggers and a spinner, I guess, that will. It's a weird. Like, Excadrill is so weird on this team. Like,
I'm not counting Extra as a spinner, but I think the hazard removal is fine for what it is. I'm not counting Extra That Extra is actually minus points on the hazard removal, but Zapdos and Pelipper are fine. Pelipper is often going to be defensive. You can just chuck defog on it, and Pelipper's coming nearly every week. Zapdos is fine as a backup one. You're probably bringing it offensive more on the rain team, but yeah, the extra drill does not count. Extra drill will just die to everything that's got a water move.
yeah.
Yep.
If you also notice something, I mentioned they don't have a ghost type. They also don't have a fairy type. They are pretty fucking weak to fighting. Of course, they have Zapdos and Pelipper, which can take a fighting move, but a lot of fighting types get something that's called Stone Edge.
Hmm. Also, I'd like to add in as well. Buzzwold is a very good defensive check to defect dark types that are physical, but special dark types are going to have a field day on this team.
Oh yeah,
Iron Jugglers will just go with Iron Jugglers could just come specs and just run Hurricane, Dark Pole, U-turn, insert fourth move. That's probably freeze dry. I don't know what it gets.
unironically,
None.
a choice specs Spiritomb does well into this team.
Yeah, it actually does. Trick Room Spiritomb with choice specs.
Yeah.
Like, I do not understand why that we have the Excadrill over the completely open, like, Mega Swampert. Like, it's still up. It's still up. As of right now, it is still up.
Yeah.
To be fair, Nate, I don't know any team that's ever drafted Mega Swampert that's not a rain team.
True.
But why is Omastar our only Swift Swim Mon?
That is a question. Honestly, I feel like you and Tay rated some of these teams in a very bizarre fashion.
You'd have to watch the video. But, like,
I
dude, like,
definitely do have to watch a video because I definitely do rate some of these teams are way higher than they should be, and I'm not just
like,
on about mine and
like
bets.
the only
Or yours,
reason that
actually, as
this
well.
team is so high is because the majority of the freeze dry mons in the game are dragons.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's very weird.
I get what you mean, but that's a bizarre reason. Honestly, this team's even that weak to freeze dry. Let's be fucking honest. I'm gonna be real. This team is even that weak to
really
freeze dry.
is.
Like, no, because Openpon is only 2 extras this thing because it will Terra because it's the only Terramon. Zapdos is fine. It can probably live one. Bearthorn doesn't really care. Iron Bundle is neutral to it. Pelipper dies.
Specs freeze dry into this team eats it without question.
Yeah.
Bearthorn.
But before we complain more about
Bellybolt.
choices of this team, Breaking Power. Physically, we have Ogerpon Wellspring, we have Excadrill and Buzzwole, which are 3 very good breakers. Physically, especially we have Iron Bundle, which is just very amazing. We have Zapdos, and we technically have Omastar, which is gonna be a breaker on the team since it's the only Swift Swim user on on a rain team, which is an interesting choice for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I still don't think it's as high as you guys have rated it, but 4 for Breaking Power seems fine. I think 5 is probably. No, actually, no.
Terra Ogerpon and Rain is going to kill anything on the screen.
Except a
Oh yeah, but I'll
Pokemon.
not if it gets outspread, but otherwise yes.
Then for
Even then,
support,
against Trailblaze, it's crazy.
you obviously have to mention here that
Sure.
the rain supports a lot of the Pokemon. For example, Zapdos gets supported by having accurate Hurricanes and Thunders. Ogerpon and Iron Bundle's moves get stronger in the rain. Like the fire weakness from Ferrothorn gets weakened. Otherwise, we don't have Heal Bell. We don't have Wish.
Extra Drill gets supported in dying by thanks to the rain.
True.
No, but being serious, I think the support's fine on this team. Bellerball does support the team. Bellebolt's a good blocky pivot team on. Actually, to be fair, you can run defensive Bellerbolt with Thunder on this team.
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
And the
I think
Hazard
support's
support's
fine.
And then
Hazard support's pretty good.
The problem solving. Bundle is Bundle. Pokemon Wellspring is pretty versatile actually. With the Terra as well, it can be a very defensive mon as well. Zapdos is obviously very versatile, especially in rain, because it can be offensive or defensive, however it wants. Excadrill does nothing on this team except spin.
Yeah. And die.
Then we have Buzzwole, which has some set variety, I guess. Pelipper can.
I will just say another. I will say, not to be a hater, I've just noticed another flaw with this team. You are a rain team with a Buzzwole and giving people free Hurricanes.
Yeah.
The rest of the team does support that though, so it's not too bad. But just disappoint.
Pelipper in rain can actually be a breaker, so it is pretty versatile because you can just slap a choice specs on that and click Hurricane.
It's quite fun doing that.
Yeah. Omastar can be in a defensive or in an offensive role. It can be a hazard setter, so it is pretty versatile. Bellybolt is going to do Bellybolt things. Same with Ferrothorn. Problem solving is maybe a little overrated, but I think it's fine.
I will say this is probably one of the few teams I could see an offensive Bellybolt working. True. Especially if someone brings a trick for it. Because let's say someone brings a trick room mode into them to try and counter the rain. Bellybolt specs with Thunder could actually start nuking shit.
Yeah.
And it gets got Muddy Water as well.
Yeah.
I'll give the credit. I'll give them credit for problem solving.
Yeah. On to Zane now. And let's start with the essentials. Typings wise, every important typing you have. Speed tiers. There's immediately a big problem. If you look at that gap between Iron Bowler and Silvally.
Yep.
That is not a speed gap you want to have.
No. Not even a little bit.
Now,
for example, someone could run Adamant Ogerpon in 13.
Yeah, a certain somebody named Roy could.
I was actually thinking Frog Duck because they have Ogerpon Wellspring.
Oh yeah, true.
There's still a lot that can be done with this team, though. There's many things that can be done about that.
Yeah.
This team's still good. Don't get me wrong.
The Terra captains are Boulder, Porygon, and Swalot. Now, I'm gonna get into one big complaint I have with this team, and it's what the fuck is that hazard setting?
Yeah, but I was gonna say same.
There you go. The hazards just don't exist, which is why it's essential rules of the 3.
They've got a mini ban and a Palo Sands.
That's a bar right there.
I guess.
And listen,
since they only have.
I guess EVO yeah.
Since they only have
I mean, at least
it's fine them not having that many hazards because the only way to get rid of hazards on their side is defogging. But it's still like you want to have hazards just for the chip.
Yeah, because the only way you better to bring hazards is if you bring Swalot, which you probably only want to bring 1 or 2 matchups, or Primeape or Palossand. Palossand's also not the best. Also, the electric spam into them is very good, and Palossand is not the best resist for electric.
I mean, it's an immunity.
Yeah, but do you really want to be bringing Palossand quite often? If you don't bring Palossand, I will say this, Silvally probably covers the whole with Terra Ground Silvally, and that's probably a thing they'll have to bring quite a bit.
The ground memory, yeah.
Yeah, the ground memory. On to breaking power for this team, we have physically Scizor. Grimmsnarl is a breaker if you EV it correctly. You have Boulder.
Yeah.
And you have Primate.
Yeah.
Especially you have Shaman, you have Volcanion, and the rest is more set up for it's like the Rotom. I guess Palossand could technically break if you wanted it to, but it's like very niche. You would have to have like a boosting item like choice specs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, the breaking pulse is very good. Then for support,
Greyhound's amazing.
you have one Trick Room on, I guess, which Trick Room mode is not really a thing here, considering most of your slow Pokemon are not that strong.
Yeah, Sizzle doesn't really need Trick Room to pop off.
You do have a lot of Trick ones. You only have one knockoffer, which kind of bad, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually a bit.
You have 4 Taunters. You have a Grimmsnarl as support, which screen support, pranks support from Grimmsnarl is always great. You have Silvally as a support mon, which can just fit a lot of roles you might need it to have at a certain point. And the hazard support is ass, as we've mentioned before. Momentum is pretty decent, though.
Yeah, Momentum's pretty good. Like, I hate the Momentum on here.
Yeah. And then for
Porygon as well is surprisingly good in some matchups as well. And if there is a team that you want to run a Trick Room mode, it can do it.
Yeah. And then you then we have the problem solving, which Shaman Sky has. It's gonna be Specs, Scarf, or Subseed. There's no other sets that it viably runs.
Yeah.
Boulder is gonna do Boulder things. That means booster energy setup or just slap a choice band on it. Savali is very versatile. Primip is okay versatility wise. You can run it with a choice item, or you can Eviolite it and have it like be a little bulkier. Rotom Wash's versatility is okay. Volcanion is not that versatile. Scizor is also not that versatile. Grimmsnarl can be versatile. And the bottom 3 are gonna do the same thing they always do.
I mean, yeah, Swalot just has... Well, actually, Swalot has a really wide move pool, but it's not a mon that's coming often, so it's not really much point bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like, I rate Swalot more than most people, but yeah, it's not coming often.
Yeah, but that's Zane's team. And on we jump to Ray. Typings wise, they're only missing a normal type, which is okay since they do have a Tinglu, which will take ghost hits like a champion.
I really do like them having a backup dark type to Greninja. That is good. I like that a lot.
Speed tiers wise, the speed tiers are pretty fucking good. Nothing to complain about. And hazards and removal are also pretty great. Nothing you could really complain about here.
My complaint about this is I think this should be a 5 for Essential Roles compared to some of the teams I've seen. This is actually very good Essential Roles wise.
Yeah, actually it is. Then
Nate, why did you guys not rate it 5?
Why did we not rate it 5? Let me look for a moment. I think it's only because there weren't any what's it called? Weren't any like wishing or whatever. I don't remember the full one, but I think it's also because I don't know why like Mesprit doesn't really fit. Like he has a Terra Carbink and
Greninja.
Also a Terra Greninja, yeah, but the Carbink and the Mesprit kind of do the same thing. No?
I mean, I think he just had 1 point left over. That's why he went Terra Carbink.
Yeah. Like Carbink and Mesprit kind of are very, very similar Pokemon in a sense.
Well, just that Mesprit is actually a little offensively threatening and Carbink is not.
True.
Yeah.
But in terms of support, they're almost the same.
Yeah, but that should go more into support than the essential roles.
Yeah. And I'd also say Carbink is the 1 pointer that he probably was just like, oh, fuck it, I might bring this one matchup, and that's why he's done it, because he has 1 point left over Terra.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But chances are that's probably why, if I had to guess. Dude, it's been so long, and I'm doing this for another 3 hours. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But chances are that's probably why, is because they're very similar mons, and you could have saved points by getting a different Pokemon than Mesprit.
I guess so, yeah. Breaking power. We have the Valiant, we have Mega Scissor, which is honestly all you need. Especially we
And then
have
you got a Terra Greninja for good measure.
yeah, you have Terra Greninja
Like,
for
you know
good
what? Fair
measure.
enough.
Then for special you also have Greninja, you also have Valiant, you have Moltres. Yeah. Breaking Power is pretty great on this team. Support wise, as mentioned before, Carbink and Mesprit have a pretty similar supporting role. There's like only a few differences. For example, Mesprit gets knockoff, while Carbink does not.
Also gets Healing Wish.
Yeah, and Carbink can be pretty passive, while Mesprit, even on defensive sets, can still deal out some damage because it has 105 in both attacking stats. And otherwise, you have Trick support. You don't have a Wish Pokemon, which I guess you would want for Tentacruel and Tinglu and Carbink, I guess. Then Hazard support is great and everything. And now we get to the problem solving. And if you just look at the top two Pokemon, the Greninja and the Valiant, these mons will pull up so many different sets in your face that you will have to prep so hard for these two Pokemon specifically, because Greninja has Terra and Valiant is just a threat on its own with physical special sets, whatever the fuck you want it to do. Not to mention there's also a Shaman, which is pretty versatile, and then you have stuff like Mesprit, which can run a few different sets as well. The rest is going to do pretty much the same things, but yeah.
I agree. I think this is a very good team, and maybe slightly underrated.
Yeah. That's number 5, Ray. We get into number 4, Denuse, which, let's get into the typings. We have every important type that you need. Speed tiers are pretty decent. The only gripe I have, there's no like 80 to 85 Pokemon on this team, which is fine, I guess, but can have it. Hazards are pretty fine. Hazard removal is something I hate, though. You have a terrain team, but you only have defoggers.
Yeah, which is a big problem.
Yeah. On terrain teams specifically, you always need a spinner, just because you don't want to get rid of your own terrain.
And you don't want to run defog on Tapu Koko.
Yeah. On Cover Knight, it's fine. Cover Knight is one of the best defoggers in the game anyways. But a spinner would be pretty good to have. Otherwise, momentum is great, speed tiers are great, typing wise.
I disagree on the speed tiers being great. I think there's a massive problem with the speed tiers that you guys haven't spotted.
What do you mean?
Look at 110 and 75.
Yeah.
There's 95 is a Haunter.
Yeah, true.
That
Haunter is not going to come
is
often,
not-
and there is a 100 speed Pokemon missing. Yeah, I did not. I
don't
forget to see that.
Honestly, I would actually lower the essential rolls down on this one, especially purely for the fact that is a big gap. And like Haunter, I like, but
the speed
respect.
gap and the removal specifically should put this down a little bit.
The good news is they have a Trick Room mode for Nayte.
Yeah. Now we get to the offense, and physically we have Coco, which can run physical sets, and then we have Mega Heracross and Iron Hands. Have fun switching into that. Especially we have Iron Moth, we have Haunter, we have also Coco, and Farigarath, I guess, is a special breaker.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the breaking power for this either. I think it should be slightly lower.
I mean, physically it's amazing, especially it's mostly Iron Moth, but
This is not a 5 out of 5 though.
I can see a 5, but 4 is more reasonable in my opinion.
No, I'm not saying a 5. 4 definitely, because it's not. If it had one more special mon, I agree. But
Now to support.
I'd actually say the support is a 5. Support is a 5, though. I love the support here.
Yeah, we have Wish, we have Heal Bell, we have Trick Room, we have Knockoff, we have Taunt, we have a lot of good hazards. We have Momentum, we have Terrain Support, which all of that is pretty fucking great. The only minus for...
reason...
You go first, Nate.
The reason why that support is a 4 out of 5 is because, again, the removal sabotages your entire team by removing its well-wanted terrain.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. You only have Defog as removal, that's why the support is probably not a 5. Because that's anti-synergy. Yeah, and then we get to problem solving. Coco's versatile, Sceptile is actually versatile. Then Haramoth is offensive, Haunter's offensive, Heracross is offensive, Dreadnought is offensive, Corviknight is defensive, can have a setup set technically. Umbreon is defensive, Farigiraf is kind of versatile, I guess. Iron Hands is offensive, and Gastrodon is defensive.
I would say Farigiraf can be offensive, and especially if you're facing a team like Nayte, where you run Trick Room Farigiraf and then run Throat Spray Hyper Voice.
Yeah, true.
Goodness gracious. Give everyone a set. Why don't you?
Roy,
okay, I can do.
You get a set. You get a set.
Yeah. Anyways, that was the news thing at number 4. Now we get to number 3. It's Rapid, and normally this.
Okay, Rapid can run Trick Room Slowbro with Life Orb, Psychic, Scold, and Flamethrower. There you go, Nate. I gave him with that.
He can also run the Ursaluna in Trick Room.
We can also just run the Ursaluna.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
All right. I will say this.
Ursaluna, by the way.
Right. Can I just say for 1 second, Nate, what the fuck are you doing in the Essential Rolls 5? What? They have one removal. That's a Delmine.
What's up?
They have one remover.
Rolls 5. That is a Delmine.
One hazard setter.
Against this team. Set rocks against this team. I dare you. I dare you.
Well,
I dare you.
I'm sorry. That still doesn't fit Essential Rolls. Essential Rolls is like you need your removers Delmines. That's not that's not a 5 Essential Rolls.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you click rocks against this team, you're dying. You're dead. You're dead.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
All right. I click Ceaseless Edge. How are you removing it?
Someone did that against this Ursaluna, and it clicked sub and swept. Someone tried it and lost the game instantly for doing that.
I'm sorry, but this is still not an essential. This is confirmation bias. Essential Rolls is not 5.
Yeah, it's
no.
Not,
I respectfully disagree.
Definitely not a 5 because
also, the hazards are just Quagsire.
Because Mega Mall is not gonna run rocks a lot, if even any time. They don't have a lot of momentum except for like 2 teleport mons and 1 U-turner. They only have 1 removal, and they are missing 1 specific typing I think a Trick Room team should have, and that's a grounded poison type. Roy, why don't
I think you would take Glaze this team too much.
Yeah.
Fine.
Roy and Nate, why don't you talk about the breaking power real quick?
The breaking power is a 5. I agree that Nate was overglazing the Essential Rolls, and I mean overglazing. Breaking power is dominating.
Breaking power, we have Mega Mawile, Ursaluna, and Hoopa, which I didn't even mention in my video. Hoopa is there too.
And Namaspherian, which I think is an Unmon, but Trick Room is probably the only way you make it work. What's that Terra's good? Is it Hoopa Mound?
No, it's Ursaluna.
Oh,
yeah! Oh, yeah!
The Essential Rolls? That doesn't change the Essential Rolls.
I think we've realized why that setting rocks is suicide.
No, because 1, suicide is badass. 2,
Yo,
let
me, hotline? Yeah.
The Essential Rolls are still ass. But this team is still good.
I rest assured. It breaks the rules.
Break the
rules. Break the lines.
Okay, so I want to prove that this is proof Nate has glazed teams in a biased way. The essential roles are definitely. By the way, I think this is a very good team, but the essential roles are ass. On to support. The Trick Room support is great. They have 3 Trick Room setters because the whole team's point is Trick Room. They are not here to be slowed. They're here to counter Team Nayte.
Yeah.
Correct.
One thing.
Court change does help with their hazards as well a bit as well.
One thing I want to mention though, it's very specific, but it's something that Nate used. If you use a Mon that gets Trick Room and Imprison, you're just stopping Rapid right in his tracks.
Man, why did you say that?
It is a very funny tech. The problem, right, is the Mons that get Trick Room and Imprison are very limited.
True.
I know a few.
He has one of them, which is Slowbro. It's one of them. The other one is
Mew.
Gengar, but Gengar drops dead to any psychic type, and he has 4 of those.
Mew
does get it. Very, very good. Mew
also,
does
he has
get
2
it.
psychic types. He doesn't have 4.
Anyway, before we talk more about what Mons get.
Oh wait, is that an old? Wait, did he make traits? Wait,
he did do traits.
Okay,
He traded
right, he did have
Enamorous for Hatterene.
That's an improvement.
That's
right. That's an instant improvement. That makes the support even better. And it's not really removal, but it does help with it a bit.
Yeah. And
Federals is the last though.
And then we have problem solving, which might be a little overrated here. Not gonna lie.
Well, actually, can I just pause a minute? I just realised, with Hatterene in, they are very weak to ground spam.
I mean, yeah, with Hatterene they are, yeah. Now then, for the problem solving, Cinderace is gonna do either the core change set or be offensive. Hoop Bound is pretty versatile. I'm gonna give him that. Porygon 2 can use its different abilities and can be offensive or defensive. Mega Mawile is gonna do Mega Mawile things. Same with Ursaluna. Enamorous Therian is pretty versatile. Hatterene is also pretty versatile. And Dalmice, Quagsire, and Slowbro are Dalmice and Quagsire are not that versatile. Slowbro, you could argue, is pretty versatile. So the problem solving might be a little overrated as well, but it's fine. But yeah, that's Rapid's team at number 3. Normally it would have been a 9.5 by Nate's rankings, but I put Rapid tax on it, so I took half a point off.
Honestly, I'd put more tax on it. The essential roles has been glazed.
True.
Has been glazed. Okay, no, what? I do not agree with this ranking straight away. A nice way. I like the guy, but right. Nate, you know what? When I mentioned about a team that's super weak to Trick Room,
it's this team.
Look, look at that. Look at that. I love Trapinch. This team.
How on earth are you setting Trick Room on this though? Be so real with me here.
Okay, Nate. Yeah. I managed to set Trick Room on this team, so yes, you can set Trick Room on this team. I did it. Wow. I did it in a match already.
Okay, then I think that's an issue with the player and not the team, because I'm looking at both of this player's Terra captains. Actually, wait, which one is it? I think I know one of them is Durant, the other one is Zarude, right?
Yes.
Both of them have the ability to one-shot any Trick Room setter in the game.
They're not always on the field, that's how.
I think that's an issue with positioning.
Anyways, let's get.
If I need Trick Room, they ain't gonna set it up if they don't need Zarude.
Before you guys complain more, we still have the Hall of the Violet division, which is only 10 teams, but we still have to go through those.
They don't have Rapid Spin. That's a key thing to note. They do have one that has a set, which is great. Well, Roserade counts, but Roserade's iffy a bit.
They only have Run Rock. Typing wise, they have everything they need. Not having an electric is actually fine because electric types are not necessary. Speed tiers are fine until you look at the fact that there's nothing below 75 except for Trapinch.
Track card.
Yeah. And then you have
Trapinch is a catch someone out mon, but yeah, like you can bring Trick Room into this team so easily,
yeah.
and you don't even have to have a particular slow team.
Yeah, essential roles are definitely a little bit overrated. Let's get into breaking power, which I think is ranked pretty well though, because physically we have Megalopt, Durant, and Zarut. You could
Yeah.
also count Facade Gliscor to that if you wanted to. And especially we have Blacephalon, we have Iron Crown, we have Manaphy, we have Roserade, and we have Florges, which...
Yeah. The breaking power I agree with. I will point one thing out. They have made changes.
Yeah, they have made changes. They have...
So Sarud and Durant are gone. There is now Weavile with Terra, which is a very good breaker,
And
and
Avalon.
Avalokastui with Terra.
Which reminds
Which-
me, Roy,
no.
update dock. It's not on the dock yet.
Yeah, it's on my list of things to do. I've been I was very busy this weekend, and yeah, it's on my list of things to do.
Blazy, I
Denise's
do
team will
support. I
dead.
do support allowing Lugia as a high tier mon. I do want to free my boy.
It's Lukey. Is this is why you rated it second, isn't it?
Huh? Absolutely not.
I
This
disagree.
team,
I don't think this is...
without the trades, by the way, because I didn't even know those happened, are very good. This is a very good Mega Lopunny team. Blacephalon works beautifully with this team. You have perfect breakage. You have threats across your entire board, and even if Trick Room gets set up somehow, I don't know how they'd set it with Blacephalon, Durant, and Zarud all coexisting, but should it get set up, like you do have your Terra Bug first impression on Durant, which will do a lot of damage, provided you don't miss. So don't miss. And you can always stall it out with Florges and Gliscor. It's an option you can do. However, like the main key to this, like this team is like Muhammad Ali. Your defense is your offense, and you've got a lot of it at that, and it's all perfect offense. I don't know why you made trades. I don't know why you made trades.
I would point
this
out they lost.
team's
They
offense
lost. They
is
lost to
great.
Reggie. They lost to Reggie Steele.
How do you lose to Regist? Okay.
Iron Defense Reggie Steele goes in on this team with Trick Room and Ogerpon support. To be fair, my Ogerpon one shot a Blacephalon with Terra Ivy Cudgel. It was a crit, but it one shot it.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got crit. Oh no.
It was a 2-shot anyway, so I would have killed it anyway.
Also, I want to mention something.
Your Ogerpon's dying, no?
Ogerpon's amazing.
This guy sniped Blacephalon from me. The exact round I wanted to pick it up.
That's unfortunate. Oh goodness.
But I do think this is. I do think you have rated the team slightly higher than it is. I think the support is good. I also think, but I do think the essential roles, that Trick Room weakness is a big problem.
Yeah.
And if someone, because that puts you on back foot.
Yeah, the support is good. Like the hazard support is pretty good because Gliscor is one of the best hazard setters in the game. You have Wish and Heal Bell support. You have Trick. You have Knockoff. You have Taunt. You have decent enough momentum. Support is good. Problem solving now. Lopunny is... It has technically like some support moves like Encore and Heal Bell, but it's rarely using them. Durant is going to be offensive. Same with Blacephalon. Zarut can be defensive actually. Can do setup or can do other stuff. Manaphy is pretty versatile as well. Iron Crown is decently versatile. Gliscor as well. Roserade is mostly gonna be offensive or like a support with spikes and stuff. Vigoroth is there, I guess. Trapinch can trap something, and Florges is pretty versatile.
Yeah. Honestly, I do say this genuinely. I think the team would be improved. Avalokastui is helpful. Honestly, dropping one or two of the high tier speed mons just to have a bit more like speed throughout the team would help a lot, because one thing I noticed when I was prepping for this team, and that's why I've noticed it so badly, I could just get away with running a lot. Like, I look at the speed tiers for my team, and I could just run max HP, max attack, or max defense. I didn't have to do any speed creeping in a lot of cases for any of my slower mons. So, like, I could get away with, for example, just running, like, for example, max HP, max defense, Don Fan, or shit like that. Like, it makes it very easy on the slower mons. And I could even run modest Slowking Gallop, which is fun.
Yeah. Now, to the number 1 team, and if you have paid attention, you're gonna know what it is. It's Kitaminu. And
This team is good.
This team is first for a reason. The Terra Mons on this team are Heatran and Clawitzer.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah. Speed tier wise, there is a tiny problem. You don't have a 100 speed mon. Otherwise, the speed tiers look fine. Typing wise, you don't have a flying type. But you have grassy terrain. And you have like one of the big ground weak Pokemon on your team. Heatran can Terra out of the ground weakness. Hazard setting is okay, I would say. Removal is ass though. You only have spin from Regieleki.
Yeah, I would say this. The removal is. I mean, I actually like not having defog, but I think you need a second spinner. I also will point out there's no dark type. That luckily in DD is coming a decent amount, so that does help a bit. But I will say knockoff is quite good into their team because your answers are a Dash Bomb, which will not come every week, as good as it is. And I love Dash Bomb. There was a weird league where there was a week Sax league. I bought it like most weeks, but that was also because about half my team was low tiers. And Sneezer's not going to come into knockoffs. It shouldn't do anyway. Not often.
Yeah. Essential rules are a little bit overrated, but I think it's fine. Breaking power. Regieleki can break anything that's not a ground type, basically.
Yep.
Physically, we have Sneasler, we have Megalade, we have Rillaboom. Especially, we have Heatran, we have Clawitzer, we have Vikavolt, and we have Indeedee in the Psychic Terrain it sets up.
And Regieleki.
Well, yeah, Regieleki is for both sides. For physical
But
and
yeah,
yeah.
I think I think the essential rules is a bit high, but breaking power is definitely a 5.
Yeah. Why the support at 5 makes sense, even though there is no heal bell or heal bell. You have wish for 1, but you have great terrain support. The Rillaboom especially carries this team very hard in terms of terrain support.
Yeah. Only slight anti-synergy thing is Swampert. Doesn't get a high horsepower. Actually, no, it does get high horsepower, doesn't it? I think it does.
It does.
Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, I'm dumb. Never mind. Ignore me. I don't know why I thought it didn't.
Even if it doesn't, I think it gets Stomping Tantrum at least, which is decent.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can just run Earth Power and it's problem solved anyway. It's not. It's like literally a first world problems moan.
Yeah. Yeah, support is great. You even have like the Psychic Terrain in specific cases you need it. And then for problem solving, Regieleki can run both offensive sides. Sneasler is physical, Gallade is physical, Indeedee is gonna do Indeedee things, Daspan is gonna do Daspan things, Rillaboom is gonna be physically offensive most of the time, Heatran is very versatile, Swampert is very versatile, Clawitzer is only offensive, Vikavolt is pretty versatile, and Corsola is just defensive.
I will say this: Sneasler also helps out with problem solving because sometimes if you're losing a matchup, you can just Diaclaw Ben and win.
Yeah, that's basically
True.
why problem solving also gets 5 points.
Nate, I will say you got number 1 right. I do disagree with 2 and 3, those being as high as they are.
Yeah.
The essential roles would be a 5 if there were just any better spinner.
I mean, to be fair, compared to Rapid's essential roles, this is a 5.
Goodness gracious.
Anyways, we are done with Scarlet.
I actually do. By the way, I do actually rate Rapid's team. By the way, I'm just disagreeing on the essential roles being
This
a 5.
is gonna be. You can hate all you want.
Okay,
Go
good.
ahead.
I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
Go ahead. All right.
Good.
now,
Okay.
boys.
So the essential roles.
This is where shit's gonna get so interesting.
We have some very interesting teams in Violet. In Violet, we only have 10 teams, which would make you think there is better quality drafts here, but we are gonna jump immediately into it with a 3.5 total. for Andrew, and then Iono as well.
Oh wow, this
Alright,
one
let's see
got
how-
lower than Iono's. That's
They
crazy.
are tied.
Okay, let's have a. Oh my fucking god! Okay, I see the problems. Okay. This might be the most weak to Mega Banette team I've ever seen in my life.
Terra. This team has a Terra Landorus and Terra Shiinotic.
Landorus is good.
Yeah, Terra Landorus is definitely good.
Ben, do we want to start by listing the problems?
Look at the amount of Mews on the right, guys. Look at the amount of only Mews on the right.
Yeah. Let me start with the typing. So you don't have a normal type, and you have a dark type, but your dark type does not resist ghost, and you have 3 Pokemon weak to ghost, and ghost spam is very, very, very viable into your team. Now, you have 2 ghost types, which is fine. You're gonna have resistance against normal and against fighting. You don't have a steel type.
Guys, we have no steel. We get Shadow Balled for days. And also, look who our grass type is.
Shiinotic.
Also, by the way, no grounded poison.
Yeah, no grounded poison as well.
there's that too.
So let's just think about something real quick here. If you take away the Shiinotic, you only have 1 resist to grass out of all types.
Oof.
That's interesting.
This team's defensive profile is one of the worst I've seen in a while.
I've seen a team with worse defensive profile, but that was a rain team that was very curious, and that will come up in another video.
It doesn't even get better with offense either. Like, you have a ghost horse. That's your offense. What?
Well,
Like-
yeah. Let's get into the BTS first.
No. Let's get to
fine.
essential roles. Let's get to essential roles. Sorry, a second as well.
Yeah.
They have 2 rockers, and yeah, one's a Mew and one's a Landorus. You probably only want offensive.
Yeah.
Defog is fine, I guess. I don't know how much you want it as well. Beaters, I will say this: AC1 to 50 is a bit weird, but Hot Rain can run Trick Room, so
Yeah.
sure, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. That you can work with.
Yeah.
Ben, offhand, go.
Now then, you have 2 mons physically, Lando and Iron Hands, which is pretty decent. Especially
Mew can cover.
you have Hatterene and Spectre, which is decent. If you consider that they hit a lot, like Spectre and Hatterene hit a lot of the same stuff for good damage, but it's fine. It's very interesting, though, that like you're relying a lot on Spectre and Hatterene for special offense, and for like you only have 2 breakers of both attacking attacks, like 2 of physical and 2 of special, which is pretty interesting, I guess.
Mew, I guess, is covering a lot. Honestly, Mew, which looking at your hazards, you have to bring Mew defensive, but also Mew kind of also needs to. This is the problem with the team. Mew has to cover so much, and I don't think it can do everything here.
Yeah. Support and problem solving are maybe a little bit underrated, actually, because you obviously have Mew, which is a great support Pokemon. You have viable Trick Room support for your Iron Hands here with Hatterene as well, which can abuse the Trick Room. You have some good knockoff mons, a lot of Taunters. The hazard support is obviously not that good, but support is definitely a little bit underrated. Problem solving as well, because Electrode is one-dimensional, same as Spectre. Talonflame is a little versatile. Mew is very versatile. Landorus is pretty versatile. Milo can be versatile, I guess. Iron Hands is one-dimensional. Shiinotic is... I don't know what the fuck Shiinotic is.
Spore.
Does it even get Spore?
Yeah, it does get Spore.
You sure?
That's the only reason why I drafted it before, because I had 3 spare points, and I was leading the grass type, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try it to get Spore. Drops it by week 1.
Yeah. Then we have Hatterene, which can have some versatile sets, and then we have Mega Sableye, which is just a Stallmon.
I will say this: I slightly disagree on problem solving, just because Mew feels like it's covering a lot here. Like it feels like it needs to cover the help as a backup physical offense option. It needs to cover a special offense option. Needs help with hazard support. Needs help with other support as well.
I get that, but I feel like problem solving support should at least be a 3, just because Mew is there.
2.5.
I honestly gave the entire team a 1 and then tacked on an extra point because Mew exists. Being so for real.
So you gave Essential Rolls a 0.
Okay. Anyways,
No. I gave
I'm
support
just
and problem solving a 1 and then tacked on 1 extra point because they have a Mew.
because I actually kind of lean towards Essential Rolls being a 0, but I'm very harsh on Essential Rolls.
Oh no, 1 was the lowest I could go, dude.
I'll go lower.
Yeah, but
I'll go lower. I actually rate other stuff higher. I actually rate other stuff slightly higher than you did, but the Essential Rolls would actually be a 0 in my opinion because there is a massive glaring weaknesses you can rip through on this team.
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Obviously there's some terror things you can do. You could like Terra Null Morio Landorus technically if you wanted to, but do you really want to? Anyway, yeah, that's Andrew's team, and next we get to Iona, which might be just as bad, but a little better maybe.
I think it's just
the hazard removal is tidy up mousehold.
Yep.
Yep.
Their Terra captains.
Magic bounce.
Their Terra captains are they don't have a single high tier Terra captain. Their Terra captains are Arctozolt, Abomasnow, and Mousehold.
Alright.
Which I think is a big
shall we
waste,
start with...
considering you could have terraed the Okidogi, or even the Blacephalon, or the Crocodile.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shall we start with positives?
Well, let's go through the typings. Most of the important typings
What
today.
positives?
But there's no steel type. And the weakness chart looks awful.
Absolutely horrendous.
You have a big weakness to ground, which you have 1 resistance and 2 immunities, which is fine. You have a big weakness to flying, which you have 2 resistances, which are not that okay bulk-wise.
I'm disagreeing, unless you don't take Mega like Diancie.
How the fuck do you have such a big bug weakness?
That's actually a good question.
I mean, you have 2 4 times resists to bug and 1 regular resist, so it's fine, I guess. But like, you're gonna.
They've got Cephalon is not switching into U-turns. Come now.
Okay, yeah, true.
Well, yeah. Actually, yeah. To be fair, I did just kill that mon with a resisted hit this week, so in 1 shot.
Yeah.
Ghost spam as well.
That mon is a special Pheromosa. That's what it is. Just worse.
Yeah.
No, guys, I've realised the biggest problem with this team when it comes to basically getting spammed with stuff. Fairy spam. Their resist is Persephone.
Yeah.
Yep,
I wasn't even done with the weakness chart. I wasn't done with the weakness chart.
Sorry.
They have 2 resistances to rock, which Okidogi is pretty good and Crocodile's fine. They have 1 ghost immunity and 1 resistance. Like, Crook is a good ghost resist, but Mousehold, like a neutral hit will still do so much fucking damage to Mousehold. Yeah, and then we get to the fairy problem. The only fairy resistance is the Blacephalon, which is the paper bag.
Yep.
If you, for example, bring Choice Band, Mimikyu and hit play rough, it's probably 2-shot it.
Yeah.
I know it's a bad example because it's got Ghost Stab, but yeah, just actually, what was it? Gramble. If you bring Choice Band Gramble, it probably 2-shots that.
Maybe even
That's
1
the
shots,
resist.
considering Gramble's pretty strong, actually.
Yeah. Hazard setting's fine. Hazard setting's actually alright. Like, I don't hate it, but the removal is a huge
Speed also have
problem.
a little bit of a problem, which you can see by the 107-92 gap. No 100 speed Pokemon. No Pokemon between 100 and 105, which is kind of bad. The rest of the speed tiers are fine. But the essential rules should not be a 2, they should be a 1.
Yeah, actually, I'm 0.5. I'm being a hater. Like your removal being mouse hold is just such a please set up hazards in my face sign to me.
And
It's a weird
considering mouse hold, like
You know,
you can obviously
you
Terra it and everything, but let's not forget there is the opponent can just put a steel type in front of the mouse hold, put a rocky helmet on that, and the mouse hold will kill itself.
yeah. Like Loki, you know how I ripped into Rapids basically removal as just being dealt might? Okay? That's honestly passable. You can get away with that. But if your removal is mouse hold, I repeat, mouse hold, I'm bringing hazards into you. I'm hazard stacking you. And I don't even hate mouse holds.
Like, you could argue there's a magic bounce Pokemon, but it's not magic bounce from the start. You have to mega it first.
Yep.
And even then, most self rockers have ground coverage. So you can't switch to Diancie easily.
And some of them are steel types, so they can just hit you with a steel move as well.
Exactly.
Like, Reggie still probably goes hard into this team as well, actually.
Yeah, there's like so many issues. Breaking power now. One of the good things about this team.
It's underrated, I think.
Physically, we have Mega Diancie, we have Crook, we have Okidogi, and we have Arctozolt. Especially, we have Shaman Sky, Mega Diancie, Blacephalon, and Mesprit, I guess. You can count it a little bit.
It does passively, because it gets mystical power, so it can passively increase it. I will say this, you know how, like, the Essential Rolls is a 0.5 for me. The Breaking Power is a 4. I think the Breaking Power is very good. It's the Essential Rolls at the problem.
Like, take the 1 point from Essential Rolls and put it in Breaking Power, and then I think it's okay. Now,
support.
You have Trick Room support for Arctozolt and Abomasnow, I guess?
No, Chili Reception, if anything.
Yeah, Chili Reception is there. Like, you have a lot of like support for the Arctozolt specifically. Outside of that, you don't have a lot. Don't have any support really.
Yeah, Mousehold's not support. Like
you have Aurora Veil and Abomasnow, which is great, but that's also again relying on the snow being up and everything.
Yeah, I like the concept of this team, but there's definitely parts of it I'm just not vibing with at all.
Yeah, same.
And I think I actually prefer the. No, I think this team's still better than the other team actually, because Arctozolt can just win games on its own if you use it right.
Yeah, and then we have problem solving, which one-dimensional, one-dimensional, versatile, one-dimensional, little bit versatile, one-dimensional, versatile, kind of versatile, kind of one-dimensional, and a little versatile.
Yes. I will just say this honestly, like I think this is one of the first times that I've ever seen a team with no defog, no rapid spin that's not Paldea Dex.
Yeah, like this is some crazy shit. This team is interesting to say the least. Let's get into number 8, which is Zorvasa, which is actually a pretty good team, all things considered. You have.
So, you know how I'm a hater, by the way. I just want to pause this on like on rapid spin defog. This might be one of the few teams that I actually don't mind having. Actually, no, never mind. I changed my mind. So, I think I want a second rapid spinner.
Yeah, you definitely want to because you have a lot of rock weak Pokemon, and only one rock resist. Now let's get into the essential roles and the typing. You're missing a grounded poison type, which kind of sucks because some of your Pokemon do not like to get poisoned. You're pretty weak to water, pretty weak to ice, pretty weak to fighting, and very weak to rock. Speed tiers. You're missing a 110 to 115 Pokemon, and you're missing a Pokemon at the 90 to 95 speed tier. And there's a gap between 87 and 67, which is fine, I guess. This team is very slow, though. There's only 3 Mons above 67.
This is very much a Trick Room team.
Well, technically...
Which is not trying to be a Trick Room team.
Technically, Minior is 120 when the shell breaks.
Now, genuine question, what are their terrors on this team?
Their terrors are Minior, And Incineroar.
Yep.
Incineroar's a choice. Minior's quite fun. I mean, I don't know if that's it. I will say this: Zoroark is very much a I'm cooking player because we saw it with Jumpluff.
Yeah.
The drum
I
fluff
don't
inside.
hate this team as much as I should. I'll say this: Minior's not running Self Rocks. I don't think it's ever running Self Rocks. So you have two Self Rockers. It's a
Yeah.
bit weak handed wide. And the more I look at, I want a second Rapid Spinner. I don't. Corviknight is fine enough as defog on its own.
I mean, you have one of the best defoggers and one of the best spinners. I think
Yeah, you
it's
just want
reasonable to have those two. A backup
Yeah.
would be nice, but it's not necessary technically because you have two very great removers.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
maybe
he's
because
got
I'm just such a
options.
fan of offensive Great Task is why I kind of would prefer a backup one.
I mean,
I
even
think
then,
offensive Great Task is best task.
I mean, even
But
then,
you
you
run Rapid Spin on
sometimes
that
like
too.
rapid spin, yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably just being a hater to be honest.
Yeah. Let's get into the breaking power now. Physically, you have Great Tusk, you have Incineroar, and you have Minior technically. And especially, you have Bundle,
Yeah.
Mega Gardevoir, Porygon 2. Which is
And Minior. I think
Minior again, yeah.
Minior's actually I think Minior's probably better, especially if anything.
I mean, with Terra,
Weird
it
as
can
that
do
sounds.
both.
Yeah, I think Terra works both. Yeah, I say bring him home at 3. You kind of need setup for physical stuff here, to be honest, because really, Incineroar is actually more of a defensive Pokemon.
Yeah.
So really, it's just great task.
Yeah,
That's kind of why I want the backup spinner.
Yeah, physically it's only Great Tusk. Especially you have some options though. Minior obviously will fill a lot of the breaking power with the Shell Smash set, but you always have to remember people will mirror it if the people are smart enough.
Yeah.
Now to the support. We have Trick Room support, which is pretty fine here. Actually, Belly Bolt can abuse that a little bit. Incineroar can abuse it. Porygon 2 can abuse it. Then we have Hazard support is not that good. So support might be down a little bit in total. Knockoff support is there, Taunt support is there. You technically have a Wish Pokemon and Mega Gardevoir, which is not that great, but it is there. Yeah, that's basically it. You also have Heal Ball and Mega Gardevoir. And now to the problem solving, which is where this team runs into a little bit of a problem because Iron Bundle, monotone. Gardevoir, monotone. Great Tusk, versatile. Corviknight, kind of versatile. Same with Porygon 2. Same with Incineroar. Same with Minior. Tangrowth is Tangrowth. Bellibolt is Bellibolt. Corsola is Corsola. Like, versatility is very meager on this team. Savasa can probably cook up something, but we're just basing it off the actual team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's number 8, Zavasa. Number 7, Dolphin Wizard. Typings. They don't have a fire type, and their only fire resist is Palafin. Something we already saw somehow.
Be right back.
Otherwise, they are not missing any like important typings. They're very weak to fire. Aside from that, they're not very weak to any typing really. Hazard setting and removal is pretty fucking good.
Wait, this is the second. Yeah, you're right. This is the second team I've just seen that's basically their only fire resist is Palafin.
Yeah. And speed tiers. Speed tiers are actually pretty fine.
The hazards and actually hazard removal is pretty good. Honestly, maybe it's a 3.5. Like the fire weakness is quite noticeable.
The fire weakness is noticeable, but honestly, with everything else, this could be a 4 on the central rolls. Now on to breaking power. I'm not counting Zeraora. Fuck that, man. Physically, we have Zarut and Palafin. Especially, we have Zoroark, Isui, Palafin again, Terapagos, and Empoleon. So, physically...
I count Zoroark physically as well, because it can do Sword Dance. With the free turn, it can sometimes get.
Yeah, true. So, this is definitely... Like, physically, it's a little bit to be desired, but you have Palafin and Zarut here. The Terra captains for this team, by the way, are Zarude and Spidops. And Terra Zarude is pretty fucking great, so... Yeah. Breaking power is pretty good. It could be better on the physical side, for example, because you're very reliant on Palafin and Zarude, because Zeraora is not a Mon, and Zoroark and Gliscor need to set up to be very threatening physically. Especially, it's also, like, it's fine, like... Palafin can run special. Zoroark can break immediately. Same with Terrapagos, although they both also like having setup options. Support is a little bit of an issue here because you don't have Wish. You don't have Heal Bell, or I think this Weezing actually gets aromatherapy if I'm not mistaken. So I guess you have that. You have technically Misty Terrain, which could help you a little bit here, but I don't know if it's that necessary. You have a lot of knockoff and taunt. You have a good amount of momentum. Hazard support is great. So I would I would actually rate the support a little higher than it is.
Okay.
And then we get to problem solving. Zeraora is not a Mon, so we're not counting that. Zoroark is pretty versatile. Zarude can be very versatile, especially with Terra. Same with Palafin is just versatile in general. Gliscor has some set variations. Terrapagos is pretty versatile. Same with Empoleon, and Weezing and Spidops are gonna do the same things they always do. So problem solving is pretty good.
Yeah, I think problem solving works quite well.
Yeah. Anyways, then let's jump to number 6, which is Drew. Immediately there is some things on essential roles. Well, first, hazard setting is decent. Removal is pretty good. You have a lot of possible removers. Speed tiers are pretty fucking good, actually. Nothing to complain about too much. Now then, the typings. You don't have a normal type, but you have 2 dark types. One is a kind of a fake dark type, but Drapion is a good ghost switch-in. You don't have an electric type, which is I mentioned before is not that necessary. But you have kind of a weakness to fire. You have Manaphy and Moltres, which can switch into that. Well, electric type weakness is pretty big, actually, because Meowscarada is not switching into electric type as well, but you have Dawnfang. And then the flying weakness is the big one. You have not a single resist to flying.
Yeah, you're gonna get absolutely slammed by flying types.
Yeah. Ice type weakness is also there, but you have 2 good resists here, so it's fine. Rock resistances, you have 1 decent one, and Valiant is okay, I guess. Yeah, but defensively, this team has definite options, but you're forcing some of your versatility to go away because you need to run some mons more defensively. And like I mentioned before, the big problem is the big flying type weakness. Drew's Terra captains are Manaphy and Driftblim, which Manaphy can technically go into a type that resists flying, I guess, so you can technically get a flying resist if you wanted to. But the essential rolls at a free is pretty fine, I think.
Yeah.
Breaking power now. Physically, you have Meow, you have Valiant, you have Mega Scissor, and you have technically Dawnfang. Especially, you have Valiant, you have Manaphy, you have Moltres. Especially, it's a little bit to be desired. Because, as we've mentioned before, Moltres might have to run defensive sets more often than not.
Yeah. And it's not Terra Moltres, is it?
It's not Terra Moltres, it's Manaphy and Driftblim.
Yeah, Nate, I think you glazed this again. This is not a 5 essential. This is not a 5 breaking.
It's a 4, I think.
We have Mega Scizor and Iron Valiant. What more do you need?
I mean,
mobs.
And also the Meowscarada as well, because it's a guaranteed crit every time.
I mean,
Which
yeah,
is great.
that's physically very good. Especially, you basically only have the Iron Valiant because Moltres is going to be forced into defensive roles a lot. And Manaphy
Don't
Yeah,
forget
needs
about
it
that's
the
what.
Manaphy. Don't forget about the Manaphy now.
I mean, it needs a tail glow
Yeah.
up, though.
Manaphy's overrated. Manaphy's overrated. I
The tail
generally mean
glow,
that.
the tail glow is not too hard to get up when you have 100 neat stat.
Yeah,
True, I guess,
Gen 8,
yeah.
yes. Gen 9, no. I
Anyways,
disagree on that.
let's get into support, which I think could take 1 point from breaking power into support because you have
Yuxi.
Yuxi. You have some great support options for Trick Room, which Dawnfang could abuse as a breaker if you wanted to. You have a lot of knockoff, a lot of taunt. You have decent hazard support. You have a lot of momentum on this team, so you could put this at a 3.
Yeah, True Mode deal on this team would beat Nate.
He's
They're
just
not in
gonna
the same
keep going.
division, but
He's just gonna keep going. Oh man.
Yeah. Problem solving. Iron Valiant is a great problem solver. Miascara has like the option to have a special set. Manaphy could run physical if you're that kind
no,
of person, I guess.
Manaphy does not get any physical coverage.
It could
It
if
can't
you
run
are that
physical.
type of person.
Okay, so if you smoked a lot of crack, you can do it.
Yeah. Drapion can run some defensive sets or some offensive sets if you wanted to. Yuxi is it's not gonna do a lot of different stuff. Moltres is pretty versatile. Volbeat is just prankster stuff. Driftblim, I guess, can be versatile with Terra. I guess.
I will say this as someone who thinks that Manaphy is not versatile. This team is very versatile. I actually would rate the problems on the 4. A lot of the stuff can do different shit. Like
Yeah. Then like Mega Scissor could be like a defensive set or offensive set, and Dompan can have like some set variations, I guess. But yeah, on to number 5, which is your child, Small Evroy.
Yep. By the way,
Solid.
the video in the no, be nice to my child. The video in the middle is the time Ben threw my child out the window because Ben is an abuser.
Hey, chill out. Anyways, typings wise,
Okay,
you're not missing any
can I just say
important
one?
typings.
Can I say one very important on this thing on essential roles?
Yes.
Their removal is fake. Fake
Oh yeah.
removal.
I was I was gonna
So
mention that as well. I wanted to get into typings and weaknesses first because like weaknesses wise it's fine. They're very very weak to flying. Manectric is a fake flying resist.
also, so Raptor and Eldegoss are fake ground resist
Yeah.
and immunities.
Now then, speed tiers are actually pretty decent. Nothing to complain about really. Hazard setting is very good. Now we get to the fake removal.
Your best remover is Defog Volcanion, which isn't even particularly good with Defog, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Eldegoss is a shit mon. I've used it. I've tried to make it work. I hate it. The Raptor is not a defogger.
Yeah.
It's budget swallow.
Yeah. Then we get into breaking power. Physically, you have Staraptor, you have Annihilate,
Terror Alienate.
Terra Annihilate, yeah, and you have Greninja technically.
I will also say Sanaconda can actually be a setup mon as well.
Yeah, but we're talking no setup breaking right now, like straight up from the get go breaking. And then especially you have Mega Manectric, Greninja, Iron Moth, and Volcanion.
Freaking's good. Very good. I like it. Coil Sanaconda is a legit threat as well because Swallow likes to stall, and you can glare Coil in someone's face.
Yeah, which you mentioning Glare we can't get into support because there's, for one, the Glare support from Sanaconda, the very good hazard support on this team, And then you have Screamtail, which is also a very great support mon. It's the one thing to mention though that is obviously pretty bad here is the bad removal. But otherwise, the support is actually pretty fucking good.
Especially Screamtail paired with Annihilate. That is a fucking lethal combo.
Yeah. And then you have problem solving, which Greninja is very versatile. Screamtail has some variations of sets, Annihilate has some variations of sets, and Volcanion does. The rest are pretty like one-dimensional mons with some variations.
Yeah. I think my child Smoliv, who by the way, if you look at the meme on here, Jakota, they are not a dude, they are non-binary. Is going to do well this season.
Yeah. But there we go. Number 5, Smoliv. Number 4, Tiger. Nate, why don't you start us off with this one?
Oh boy. All right. We've got terrain. We've got a lot of terrain. And we've got priority. We've got good okay, wait. We've got good removal, but very little hazards.
That's an understatement.
That is definitely an understatement. Well, let's get into back into the typings. You have one important typing missing, which is a normal type, and considering but you have a decent ghost resist, which is Mandibus, so it's fine. Speed tier wise, speed tiers are pretty decent. Could be a little better. You have like three months in the 80 to 85 speed tier, but otherwise it's like fine. Your Terra Captains are Iron Leaves and Entei, which
are good.
Yeah, those are pretty good Terra Captains. But now we get to the hazard setting, which is basically only Iron Threats, which is gonna be forced to run Stealth Rocks every single fucking time it comes. Unless you are just not gonna run hazards.
Also, they have some they're weirdly weak to poison as well. Very weirdly weak to poison.
Weirdly, yeah. They have a Steel type and they have a Haunter, but Haunter is not gonna take poison moves. Well, even if it's double resisted. Yeah, weaknesses wise, they're also pretty weak to fire, to ice, and to flying as well.
And psychic.
I mean,
but they can kind of cover that one.
But
yeah,
they have a Mandibuzz, and they have a Iron Threads to take psychic moves. Removal wise, they're pretty good though. They have one solid spinner, one solid defogger, and like 2 that can do the job if needed be.
Yeah.
Now on
they're not really relying on terrain if they don't bring Iron Leaves, so it's actually alright to run Default Coco sometimes.
Yeah. Now onto the breaking power. Physically, you have Coco, Treads, Leaves, Entei, Quaquaval, and Slitherwing, which sounds amazing, but then you get into the special side. You have Coco, you have Haunter, and you have Sylveon, because Vileplume, while it can technically break, its move pool is not made to break. So, physically, very great breaking, especially it is very, how do you say it? Desirable. There's some stuff missing there. On to support. You have Wish, Heal Bone from Sylveon. You have a Trick Room Setter if you wanted to support your Sylveon in that, or Vileplume in that sense. You have a lot of knockoff, a lot of taunt. Hazard support is obviously not good, but you have a good amount of momentum as well, so that's okay. Maybe a little overrated for support, but then again, we have the electric terrain support for the Treads and the Leaves, so. And then to problem solving. Coco has a lot of variations of sets. Treads has some. Iron Leaves does not really. Entei has variations. You can run the Eruption set, you can run Sacred Fire, you can run Terra Normal E-Speed. It actually has some good variation. Haunter is not a Mon, basically. Quaquaval is gonna be physically offensive most of the time, same with Slithering. Mandibus is gonna be defensive. Sylveon is pretty versatile, and Vileplume has some versatility, I guess. Yeah. That is basically
Yeah,
Tiger's team.
Yeah,
It is
I think that's
okay.
pretty good. It's a pretty good team.
It is okay. Like again, I play without hazards. Anyone who's played against me knows that if I set hazards, you should probably call the police. I'm not okay. But
Yeah, that's why I don't run
winning
boots
with
into you.
hazards is winning with hazards is not it's not that hard, and having good removal for that is very good too. I just would desire to see a bit more pivot and a bit more, I guess, real moms. I'm truthfully not the greatest appreciator of Vileplume and Haunter.
I have seen Vileplume do work recently, but that's more Sack's got it on the Sun team, and he's actually using it as a sweeper sometimes.
Vileplume has some like defensive niches that are pretty good. Otherwise, it's like it is fine, I guess. Haunter is probably never coming though.
Yeah. Vileplume is a budget mon that does its job in the right matchups. Haunter's copium a lot of the time.
Yeah. On to number 3, which is actually the owner, Sully. And,
I actually really rate Sully's team.
Yeah. But
which I hate saying because it's Sully.
I want to mention something. If you look at the top, I have like King Gambit, Landorus, Tapu Fini, Ogerpon, Iron Boulder, all like very menacing Pokemon. And then you have like the goofy ass Sullymons like Rotom Heat. You have a Clodside, you have a Bucktree, you have a Wigglytuff, and I guess you could call Passimian goofy if you want to.
Can I just say, I rate a team that's got a fucking Wugtrio on it. What the fuck has happened to my life?
I mean, the Bucktree is just there because there was a point left, probably.
Yes, but it should be -10 for a Wugtrio.
Yeah, but looking at the typings, they have every important typing except Ghost. But they have enough resistances to fighting and normal where they don't need a Ghost type. Speed tiers are also pretty good, except for the one gap between 101 and 86. A 90 to 95 Pokemon would be ideal here, but it's okay. Hazard setting is pretty good. Removal is kind of iffy, because it's just defog.
Yeah, honestly, with that, how good their hazard setting is, I would prefer a spinner.
Yeah.
I would say Essential Rolls is a 4. I do say Essential Rolls is a 4. For example, it's better than Rapids.
Yeah. Definitely.
Definitely better than Rapids. What do you think, Nate?
What, the removal?
No, the Essential Rolls. It's definitely better than
The
Rapids.
essential rolls better than Rapids? No.
Yes.
Glazing.
Yes.
I am not
Glazing
I promise
Rapids.
you, I am not biased. The problem the problem that these guys have is they're going by a textbook, but Rapids team breaks the textbook. What when you have essential roles, it's important that you're basing them off of the type of team that they're in. Like a balanced team needs to check all of the boxes for a balanced team. A hyper offense team needs to check all the boxes for a hyper offense team. When that you have Trick Room and you have a Trick Room as volatile as his, I truthfully think that all of your essential roles are just doing damage and reliably setting up your gimmick, and his team does that.
Yeah, but
So anyway, Sully has better Essential Rolls than Rapids.
we like our rankings are based on a neutral system where like obviously gimmick teams will not be ranked that highly.
He's gonna.
Right, I will say though, I will say this: so I think you have overrated their breaking power.
Let's get into the breaking power. Physically, we have Iron Boulder, Ogerpon, technically Landorus, Passimian, and King Gambit. Especially you have Landorus.
Yeah. That's why I think it's probably a 4 because they have one special breaker. Romy can be a special breaker, and I have
needs
bought it with
setup.
like setup nasty plot.
Same with Fini.
But
It can break, but it
yeah.
needs setup.
I mean, I guess you can break them on with Trio Final Gambit.
Finny is also a fine breaker due to Taunt and Nature's Madness. Do not
Yeah, it's
forget.
true.
This is true.
That is a
True.
thing that it can do. Yeah, but F4
So I
might be
think
better just because of the low amount of direct special breaking.
yeah, this is very physically
There is a
offensive.
Landorus on my screen. I think that's enough.
I mean,
No, I think
most of the time, yeah, but a backup one that would be
me click Sheer Force boosted Lay Form Focus Blast. Oh, you're gone.
I just kill you with Ice Shock
missed that
Weavile.
focus blast.
Yeah, Ben just misses. All I do is miss, no matter what. Missing Focus Blast is all on my mind. Something else go up, and they stay there. I don't know where I was going with that.
Anyways, support.
Tonight.
We have Wish and Heal Bell from Wigglytuff, I guess. It is there.
It's the tough bunny.
We have a lot of knockoff, a lot of taunt. We have decent, an okay amount of momentum. We have good hazard support. A big point about the support, why I think the 1 point from breaking power should go into support, is the Tapu Fini. The Tapu Fini actually supports this team pretty fucking well with the Misty Terrain, because if you consider how many physical offensive monsters there are on this team that cannot be Will-O-Wisp, it's pretty fucking nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Honestly, a lot of Sully's strategy basically comes down to do not Will-O-Wisp my physical breakers. Landorus will kill any physical walls you have, and then you die to bonk or King Gambit.
Yeah.
Or Terra Ban, Terra Water Trio, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And now for the problem solving. Boulder. Okay. Monotone, a little versatile, pretty versatile, little versatile, pretty versatile, monotone, and monotone. So problem solving might be a little overrated.
I will say this: Wog Trio can solve all of your problems, because if you want to lose a game, you can just bring Wog Trio.
To be fair, one thing to mention: a lot of Sully's problems are just solved by just clicking offensive, being offensively very threatening.
Honestly, Sully's problems are usually solved by Sully going, "Boy, I've got this," and it's the most crack-addled strategy ever. And I'm like, Sully, that's fucking stupid. And then he shows me the counts. I'm like, oh, that actually might work, and then it works.
Yeah. Sully runs some weird sets. Scarf Corviknight, Flame Orb, Fling Zero Aura, just to hope somebody doesn't protect on the Gliscor first turn.
In fairness, that's because my son Emilio is a fucking idiot sometimes.
True. Anyway, we have Sully's team at number 3, and then we have Copy Ninja at number 2. Typings. There's 2 important typings missing: Ghost and Normal. Normal is not that bad because you have a Tinglu. Ghost, you are pretty fighting weak, because Clefairy is like a fake check to fighting types. While Tauren can take a lot of fighting moves, a lot of fighting types get rock coverage. Sneasler is also like a fake resist. Because
I also say they're a bit water weak as well, with Alu and Willoughby being their only switches too.
Yeah.
You do need to look at the team's pros, though, and that is the fact that in terms of button clicking, this team has a lot.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We will get to that. Speed tier wise, you're missing a 110 to 115 Pokemon, which is fine. You're missing a 90, you're missing a 90 to 95 Pokemon. Otherwise, the speed tiers are fine. Hazard setting is
hazard removal
pretty good. Hazard removal is iffy.
Yeah. Horn is amazing as a hazard remover, but it should not be your only hazard remover, because I do not count Carkol, which I'm guessing Carkol is Terra.
No, it's not.
No, it's just Torn.
Oh, yeah, I hate hazard removal actually, because Terra Torn, you want to bring that offensive a lot of the time, because it can just spam flying, especially to a lot of these teams. So in my opinion, they don't actually have hazard removal.
Yeah. Essential rules in general are pretty fine though, I think. Now then, to the breaking power, where Nate already mentioned, this is a button-clicking team. You have Sneasler, you have Rillaboom, and you have Melmetal physically. Especially you have Chi-Yu, and you have the Terratorn.
Yeah.
You're gonna click lots of buttons with this team. You click Double Iron Bash, you click Grassy Glide, you click Dire Claw, you click Overheat, you click Hurricanes, or Bleak Winds, or whatever your preferred flying move is for the Torn.
Yeah, I honestly, you could just run Terra Blast as well. You don't miss that either.
But if you want like the power, you run Bleak Wind or Hurricane, unless you're afraid to.
No. Okay, one, just run Hurricane. If you're gonna run Bleak Wind, just run Hurricane, you pussy. Why the fuck are you running Bleak Wind? Just run Hurricane. Don't be a pussy. Two, Terra Blast often is enough with Terra Flying.
True.
Especially with 2x stab.
Yeah.
But just run Hurricane. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah, the breaking power is amazing though. Then we get to support, which you have Aloe for wish support. You have a lot of support from Clefairy, actually. Has a support is decent. You have a lot of knockoff and taunt mons. You don't have that much momentum.
Yes and no, actually.
Like, you have 4 momentum mons. Technically 5, because Clefairy gets teleport.
Well, I know that he a jetpack, but yeah.
That's niche. I'm not counting niche stuff. But yeah,
No, I think the Pivot's fine on this team, and I actually think it supports itself quite well.
yeah.
Low-key, if it was me, I would actually probably like maybe have like another spinner, because I think a spinner would, or even a defog one would help a bit, because Chi-Yu is kind of locked into running boots unless you are bringing defog Torn, which I don't think you want to on a Terratorn often.
I mean, yeah. This team particularly isn't weak to rocks, but spikes will hurt this team a lot.
Yeah, spikes are going to do a number on this team.
And then we get to problem solving, where Torn with Terra especially is very versatile. Sneasler is monotone, same with Chi-Yu. Rillaboom can have some versatility. Aloe is pretty monotone, same with Carkol, same with Tinglu, although Tinglu can run band sets. Clefairy has some versatility, I guess, and Melmetal is pretty monotone.
But you got to remember, Diaclaw Hatch is a win con.
Yeah.
And that is also a good problem solver. You could just always hack start with Diaclaw and just win a game from that.
Yeah.
Ain't it right, Nate?
Exactly. And yeah. And then we get to the number 1 team and the best ranked team in both divisions, Taco.
How the hell did this guy get into low div?
He apped
Sully's hilarious.
He apped for low div, and Sully was just like, yeah, okay.
Why?
Because
Sully just likes chaos. Sully just likes chaos.
Well, let's start. This team, typing-wise, this team is missing 2 typings, normal and ghost. Is it that important? Well, they have only 1 ghost resist, which is Darkrai, which is not the best ghost resist, to be fair. They are kind of fighting weak, but then again, they have Slowking Galar, and they have Comfey, which will take fighting hits pretty well, same with Zapdos. And they have 2 Pokemon that can take normal hits pretty well. So the only thing I would argue is maybe get a better ghost resist, but that's...
I do have a slight argument. They are kind of electric spam weak, because it's just Gastrodon.
Yeah. But Gastrodon will do it well into electric.
But if they have any grass coverage, Gastrodon then is gone, and then electric spam is very good into them.
Yeah. The speed tiers are a little messy, because you have 125, 119, 110, 100, 100, and then you have one hell of a gap between 100 and 65.
Okay, I think this is the best team, but Essential Roles, this probably should still be a 3, because that speed gap is something horrendous in my opinion.
Not a 3, 4 is fine for me, because if you consider the hazard setting is pretty good, the removal is pretty decent actually, because you have 2 mons that can viably run defog, and 1 mon which might not come that often, but he can viably run spin.
I still need towards a 3. I think everyone else is a 5, by the way. I just think Essential Roles are a bit. But the braking is fucking immense on here, especially with Terra. It's Terra Ogre Pod, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
So we have
I will
for
say
physical
this.
Cinderace, Terra, Ogerpon, Wellspring. And some people forget Mega Aggron can pack a fucking punch.
Yep.
Especially we have Darkrai, we have Zapdos, we have Slowking Galar, and we even have like setup options like Comfey.
And you have set up Sandslash Alola too, by the way, in Snow.
So this team is definitely not to be underrated offensively. Then support. Obviously we have Trick Room options for the lower speed Pokemon. We have great support from Comfey. We have the 3 knockoffers, a lot of taunters. We have lots of good momentum. We have the Chili Reception, which helps the Alloslash and helps the Zapdos, because Zapdos gets Weather Ball, so we have Bolt Beam coverage. Hazard support is also great. Only gripe maybe, I'm not quite sure, but Comfey does not get Wish as far as I know.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so I wish...
I draft Comfey more for dead.
Yeah, Wish would be kind of cool just for the Mega Aggro. But the rest of the defensive mons all get recovery, so it's pretty fine actually. And then we have Problem Solving, which Darkrai has lots of variety. Can run physical, can run special. Cinderace has some variety, Ogerpon has some variety. Zapdos, with the option of the Weather Ball, has lots of variety. Comfey is pretty one-dimensional, although it does have setup or support sets. Sandslash is also can do some different stuff, especially since it's also Terra. It can Terra out of its awful typing and get some better offensive typing or defensive typing. Mega Aggron is pretty one-dimensional, but has some options. Gastrodon is pretty one-dimensional, and Slowking has some versatility. Yeah, but that is our number 1 team in both divisions. Maybe not 5 in everything, but it is probably the best team there is.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And we're not just gazing it like Nate did to Rapid.
Yeah, but anyways,
I love you, Nate.
Thank you for watching. I am tired.
Too,
we have been here for 2 hours and 41 minutes.
I've done this twice now.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah. Anyways,
God.
we are the Clodcast. We are gonna start uploading the week recaps pretty soon. Don't worry. We are trying to come back from the deficit we have made ourselves. But the PRs are finally out. Enjoy them. Nates are also gonna be posted, so you will have those to watch as well. Anyway,
yeah, watch Nate's as well. He has some very good opinions on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
Love you guys. Make sure I don't say I don't do shit for you guys.
True.
It'll be an unlisted video. It'll be in every Plugs channel that you can find with me in the server. So
true. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you watched through the whole episode, Jesus, why the fuck did you do that? But yeah. Thanks for watching. We are the Clodcast. We will be back with more episodes of BTL for you. And yeah, we're off with that. Bye.
Bye.